So here we are, live at the county ground. It's myself, it's Ellis, it's Adam. How are we, gentlemen?
Wonderful.
Thrilling.
Yeah. Listen, so we've got to rouse ourselves today is what we've got to do. We've got to rouse ourselves today. We all know what happened yesterday. So the way that today's show is going to break down, we are here for coverage of Swindon Town versus Southampton. Ladies, not that Southampton, though. This is a different Southampton. So it's not this Southampton are not affiliated to the Southampton Football Club that are of the Premier League. And indeed, they do have their own women's team who are in Tier 4.
Yeah.
Well, our ladies team and this Southampton team are Tier 4. We're Tier 4. Sorry, they're Tier 2. So this team, let me get this. I'm not doing a very good job of this, am I?
These ones today are Tier 4.
These lot are Tier 4 and they're not affiliated to the Southampton. However, should be a belter of a game today because this mob have got a pretty much identical record to us. If Swindon Town win today out on this salubrious pitch, which is unfolded here in front of us, they go level on points with this Southampton, although this Southampton have a vastly better goal difference. So this lot have got a +8 goal difference. Swindon's is currently negative. So it's a big one today. It's fair to say this is so. I think promotion is possibly out of their reach now. Swindon Town women. So this today is all about finishing as high up the leagues as they possibly can. And if they're going to obviously leapfrog this mob, they've got to beat them today. So very, 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 very tight margins today's game. Very, very tight margins. But anyway, here we are. So should be getting line up soon. But we wanted to get yesterday.
Yeah,
out of our heads and off of our chest, didn't we?
Yesterday.
Now, there was a strange... So, Swindon Town, final score yesterday from Hartlepool was Hartlepool 2, Swindon Town 1. Town having led for all of 88 minutes, I think it was? Or was it 86 minutes? 4 minutes of normal time remaining. And then we've succumbed to a, let's face it, a fairly easy goal.
Yeah.
Little dink in our right-hand side there, little dink inside. Found the lad that we said on Wednesday night would be the danger man, Stockport Loney, Connor Jennings, and he's finished with aplomb, 1-1. And then we did what we did against Rochdale, where we backed off and we backed off and we backed off and we backed off. And lo and behold, Finney slams it home from, 25 yards? Yeah. Curtain Swindon, heads go down. It was a cruel one yesterday, Ellis, wasn't it?
It was dull. Even when we were 1-0 up, you could sense that a goal was coming. I mean, it was a fantastic goal from Sean Hepburn-Murphy. Absolutely rocket. But in terms of positives, that's about it for me.
It was, I don't know. I had a friend at the game. I wasn't there, sadly, in person. At 1-0.
Sadly.
Yeah. At 1-0, I said we'll lose this 2-1. And I just had a feel. That was where my head was at. I hate to say that. I mean, Ellis, look, you know me as well as most. I like to regard myself as glass half full as most people. But there was something about, even when we went 1-0 up, I was seeing the same mistakes in possession that Jodie was talking about against Rochdale. And I was like, no, come on. Get hold of the ball, retain it, and then go at them. Like, we need another goal. And, all right, their goalkeeper's pulled out an absolute worldie in the second half. But aside from that, we just didn't really test the keeper, did we?
No. I mean, it's tricky. Something's not working. I think a lot of it comes down to leadership and experience. I don't think it's a coincidence that when our leadership come off the pitch, we concede.
We seem to we don't seem to we seem to cave.
Yeah.
When our senior pros come off the pitch, we just seem to cave now, and it's very easy to go, well, right, look, young players out on the pitch, it's experience, it's this, it's that. But we're talking about lads that have played, some of these boys have played under 23 academy level football for Premier League football clubs. So I'm not willing to just accept that, it's what happens when you've got kids out there. Let's not go all the way back to Alan Hansen and start talking about you win nothing with kids. Like, let's not go back that argument. But I'll tell you something for nothing. You cannot defend the way that we defended yesterday for long stretches and expect to come away from teams that are fighting for their life with anything other than a defeat.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's behind the scenes sort of stuff, but I see it as, our leadership and our captain is our out-and-out striker. in Charlie Austin. And it's almost as if these youngsters are like, oh, yeah, I've seen Charlie in the Prem, I've seen him play at QPR. We know he's a proven goal scorer and he does bits in League Two. That seems like the mentality that these lads have got. And when they lose that goal scoring threat and they're only a goal ahead, they all seem to flap and think, oh no, now we've got to defend for our lives. And it just seems like everything gets all dysfunctional and disorganised, and the team just starts to fall apart. And I think, going back to what Ellis says, it's very much to do with the fact that, for me personally, these are just young lads, and they haven't been in the situation in senior football yet where they've had to grizz out results and hold on to leads and things like that. And as soon as that one goal goes in, the heads drop and another one follows within a few minutes. It happens every week at the minute. And I'm going into games expecting to lose, no matter who it is, as opposed to expecting to win.
Thing is, I don't doubt that they don't want to win. Of course, any footballer goes into a game, you want to win. But it's just the execution. That's what it comes down to. Before, what was the last home game?
Stockport.
Yeah, before Stockport, the belief was there. If we won that game at Stockport, if we put a good run together, we could quite easily get into the playoffs.
Well, that was the talks from Hoops, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was saying in the dressing room they felt like something could still be done.
The belief is there, but it's just the execution.
Yeah, well, I felt like executing something last night, and it was mainly myself.
I just think at the end of the day, the players that we've got on that pitch, aside from maybe 1, 2, 3 players, they just aren't good enough. And that's something that's going to need addressing if Jody stays. Build the squad that he wants, but I just think at this present moment in time, we're not good enough to see out this season.
Well, I'll tell you 2 players that are good enough. How are we, ladies? We've got Meg Attenborough and the returning Rianne Bourne-Hallett. How are we?
Good. How are you guys?
Come on over, yeah. Come on over. Come and enjoy. Come and join us. We've just been having a proper old moan up about the men's team yesterday, because we're like, right, we want to get it out.
Hartlepool, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. We wanted to get it out of our system before we get the opportunity to sink our teeth into today's. Do you feel you've got that out of your chest now? Do you feel better, boys? Do you feel?
I haven't smashed anything yet. That's still to come at some point this weekend. Yeah.
Well, listen. First things first. Ree, congratulations. You're back. Last time I was in the stand with you was Plymouth.
Yeah.
It's all changed. You've done so well. Well done on your rehab.
Oh,
how are you feeling?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Really excited. Can't wait to get going now.
Huge opportunity today. Huge opportunity. So this mob, we said a little bit in the preamble, bit of a 6-pointer this, isn't it, really? Because obviously win today, I appreciate they've got vastly different goal difference. No one's expecting you to put 9 past this lot. But win today, you pull level with them on points. Not the Southampton affiliated with Premier League Southampton, but nonetheless a very capable Southampton. What can you guys tell us about this lot?
We've come up against them quite a lot, haven't we, over the last couple of seasons. It's definitely a game we can get points, 100%. I played probably the last 4 or 5 years against them. Then nothing massive. We can compete with them easy, and on our day get the points from them.
Yeah, they play a bit like us as well, so it's quite good to know that.
I think we drew 1-1 last season away. Didn't we? I think that was my last.
Yeah, this season we have lost to them twice this season already, to play them in the league and in the cup. But I know the cup game was a bit. We went out trying something different, so that kind of didn't go to our way that we wanted to. But we definitely competed in both games, and it's just
we take our game to them now.
Yeah, we know that we can, if we play like we have been the last couple of weeks and just keep away the mistakes, then we should come out with 3 points.
So, talking to people in the know, these seem to be a very direct. They've got a different style of play to you guys. You guys like to get the ball down, like to play out from the back, build your play patiently. This lot are much more direct. Is that going to affect anything for you guys today in terms of your approach to the game?
No, not really. It might even work in our advantage. It will give us the space to get the likes of Meg on the ball in those areas that they've kind of overcompensated on. Get it into Meg and then link up through the thirds. They would have either overcommitted on the long ball or not be ready to play them.
And we've got both Jen and Bowles at centre back, so they'll both be winning the ball out of the air, which is absolutely quite good with having both of those back there who they'll just come and win anything out the air. So if they do try, their heads are just going to be on it anyway.
So a frustrating week last week for you guys, but at the same time, no real disgrace. Moneyfields are going great guns in the league, aren't they? Third in the league. 2-0 up though. How frustrating was that to lose a 2-goal lead, end up finishing with a 3-2 deficit.
It was frustrating, but it was our own mistakes that we know let them in. They never played through us. They never actually beat us technically on the ball or physically. We just made some silly little mistakes which led to all 3 goals. So we know it was our doing.
It's kind of
watching the men too much.
It was frustrating to lose, obviously, the lead, but the performance-wise, I don't think it was too frustrating. Like you said, they didn't break us down and get through us that way. It was our own mistakes that we can put to bed now and move on from that. Hopefully.
Shooting yourselves in the foot. Yeah, useful learning curve going into next season.
Yeah, definitely.
So for you two personally then, next season, personal targets. I appreciate we've still got the tail end of this season to deal with, but we're at the anchor leg of this season now. Half an eye on next season. Have you already started thinking about it? Is there anything different you're going to be doing this summer with an eye on next year? Because it feels like everything around Swindon Town women at the moment is all about sort of, very, very steep sort of expectations, changing expectations, professionalism, fitness. Targets are right up there now. Obviously, we're here in this stadium for the 3rd time this season.
Yeah, well, last season at pre-season we had a very, very good pre-season. We came out of that pre-season the fittest we've ever been in the last couple of years. So if we just go into knowing how we did last year coming out of pre-season, do that again, and then it should go into next season even better. I think just the team we have now, if we all stick together, we know that we're gonna be a force next year. This year.
Well, Meg, you're a personal trainer, right? So you must have an eye on the fitness levels collectively of the group this year versus last year. How further down the line is this group compared to last season?
It's literally polar opposites. This time last year, we struggled to get 8 people at training. It was, I said that we couldn't really do much even in training. It was just kind of this time last year we'd already sort of checked out, whereas now we're still wanting to finish strong. We're still getting 20 people at training week in, week out. We've got a really big squad who want to do well, so we're all pushing each other and just knowing we've got 6 games left this year, so we're still focused on finishing strong because we know that we can get a lot of points out of these last couple of games that we've got for this season. But just to show everyone that going into next season we're not slacking off, we're keeping going.
And Ree, like I said, talk about fitness. What a journey you've been on. I mean, I'm in awe. With my daughter today, and we were talking in the car, and you and I talked about this at the Plymouth game. That every pregnancy is different for every would-be footballer coming back from it's not like you can go, okay, well, you've just come back from pregnancy. Here's your rehab program. It's different for everyone.
Yeah, it's so different.
So, for you to be, I cannot believe we're seeing you this season.
I can't believe
it's staggering.
We set our expectations I wanted to come into pre-season on an equal playing field. I didn't want to still be catching up. I wanted to be equal playing field and fight for it. But we've kind of skipped forward. I've managed to progress quicker than. I just didn't want to put too much pressure on myself.
So what's been the secret then? How have you done it? It's staggering.
I think he's just managing it well.
And please take this in the spirit it's intended. You're just from when we were together at Plymouth, your body shape has completely changed. You can watching the way you were moving up the stairs, the whole you can see you've put so much into your rehab program. Yeah, so what's been your secret? Says the guy that needs to lose 3 stone.
Being patient is one. Listening to the professionals around me. To be honest, I am my own worst critic, and if I beat myself up, I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that. I listened to the likes of Imi. I went to a private physio just to help from a women's health point of view, and they've worked hand in hand outside the club and inside the club, and just kind of working hard, being patient and working hard, doing everything I've been told, and accountability really, going home and putting the kids down to be able to go out and do the workouts and the runs. So I'm here and I'm very happy.
Great to see you back. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Smash it today. We'll be roaring you on.
Thank you.
Look after yourself, guys.
Hello, this is Alice.
Hello, Alice.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Are you doing it from here or up there?
We're going to be doing it from up there.
Okay, cool. So you'll have Steph Bent with you.
Lovely.
Players, she can help you identify players on the pitch.
Yep.
For when you're doing social media stuff. And it'll also have our development manager, Ethan. So when one of them talking to him, you can then go there and go.
There we are.
Yes, exactly.
I'm just waiting for Tim to do the graphics with their numbers. We're wearing the green shirt today because our red shirt isn't washed.
Super.
Right. So swap-a-roo.
They're going to be wearing the green shirt, listeners.
So
Yeah, no, we are live. Don't worry, KP, that's fine. Hey, listeners, you've got a little sneaky peek there. So they're going to be in green today, the girls. They're going to be in green. And joining us on co-coms up in the box, we have Ethan, who's the development team manager, and Alice, who works on the media team with KP and James Lally. We've got Adam, who's going to be pitch side, with Steph Bent, who is currently recovering from a ruptured Achilles. And Steph, up until she picked up an injury, I think it was against Bournemouth earlier in the season. Steph was going great guns as well. So, it's going to be all done. But so, just going back to the interview there with Rianne Bourne-Hallett. So, against Plymouth Argyle earlier in the season in the Cup.
Yeah.
Ree literally had a newborn nipper with her.
Yeah.
To consider that Ree would be in a position where she's going to be, he says, having not seen the team sheet, out on the pitch today, it's absolutely staggering. Like, I mean, and to your point, I've been in maternity wards where women have described their pelvis essentially splitting to enable childbirth, and then to enable to be in a position where you could, within a matter of months, kind of put yourself back together in order to be able to play top level, or high level women's football. It's mind-blowing. I think it's incredibly brave. It's incredibly driven.
It just shows the resilience that she has to be able to pull back, and it just shows the drive that these girls want to play and want to do well.
And can we point out as well, I mean, it's one thing having access to the kind of, so take, for example, women at the very, very top level of sport, and let's say take a Serena Williams who's, been away, had children, come back to very, very top level tennis.
Yeah.
Consider the resources that they have at their disposal.
Exactly,
yeah. The ladies that we're going to be watching today are at a stage where they are just starting to have things like their travel covered for them.
Yeah.
They've got sponsorship deals that are just about covering
They've
their
got
costs.
day jobs.
They've got day jobs.
Isn't it?
So that level of, they're not professional. So that level of commitment in order to then get yourself back out on the pitch, you've got to tip your hat to that.
Well, yeah. Like I said, they've all got day jobs, so they've got to find their way to training. A lot of these players live outside of Swindon, or where do they train, Hannes, do you know?
Well, they have a part of a pitch. I mean, this is another conversation. You talk about like the need for the good people of Swindon, the good supporters of our football club, to get behind these ladies. To just put this into perspective, some of the restrictions on their training, just because of access to training facilities, they're lucky if they get half of a football pitch for the periods of time that they're training in. Yes, they've got access to the gym and so on and such like, but these ladies still struggle, to get full pitches to train on.
Yeah.
They'll have their own individual training programs. So like I was speaking to a couple of them over breakfast, and we were talking about the fact that they'll go out 3 times a week. They'll do like 5K runs. Really kind of push themselves personally. But yeah, I mean, they don't have their own training ground. Obviously, the club itself doesn't have its own training ground. Like the men's team, are saying that their standards aren't exactly amazing.
Yeah.
But these ladies, I mean, they've got it all against them. But crucially, it's getting better. It's getting better.
100%. This season, the club brought them in as Swindon Town. And you can see the progression. And like they said in the interview just before, they went from having 8 players at training to now having 20. It shows the drive, it shows the commitment, and it's only going to get better.
So there should be a very, very competitive team out there today.
Yeah.
As I say, we met with a few of the girls for breakfast this morning. The towels are up. They're buzzing to be here. This is such an important moment for them on so many levels, like getting the opportunity to be here, playing games at the county ground. But I think, Ellis, how many times have you and I had this conversation, and Adam, I'll bring you into this as well, to actually, as supporters of Swindon Town Football Club, to actually have another team wearing our badge playing out on that pitch. I mean, it's what sucked me in.
Yeah.
Right? It's critical that these girls are playing out there. I don't think it's a nice thing or a nice to have. This is a critical thing for me for the growth of the football club. More games out there.
100%. It's a long time overdue as well. I think the success of the England Lionesses probably helped push us on. But again, it's probably too late. But like you said, Hannah, it's critical that Swindon Town women and Swindon Town men are one. The club is one. And
just in terms of support perception, you're saying?
Yeah. And it's exactly the same with the development sides and the younger teams. They're part of Swindon Town, so the women need to be as well.
So, Adam, this is your first women's game at the county ground.
Yeah.
How important is it for you to see our women out on that pitch?
It's important. I've never been. We're in that generation now where a lot of the older generation of football fans, they sort of turn their nose up at the idea of women's football. I've always said, eventually it will get to that point where it is the same sort of size, and like the revenue comes into it and the support will come into it. And, the only reason the men's game is this big is because it's been hundreds of years of, growth and development. And the women's game's only really just starting, Gypsy, who plays for the team here, I've known her since school, and when we was going through school and she was playing football, women's football was almost like unheard of in a sense. There was nothing just in the space of the last 8 years, it has grown massively. And to see them playing in the stadium like this, unfortunately, it's not going to be as full up as people would like to see. But it's still an amazing experience to get out on a pitch in a stadium and experience what it's like for when they inevitably go up. So the Lionesses played a massive role in that, and I think that's the same with a lot of sports. When England won the Rugby World Cup, you had an influx of people wanting to play rugby. You had when Eddie Hall won World's Strongest Man, everyone wanted to be a strong man, and I think it's the same here. Now that the women can see the change, that our young girls can see the change in the dynamic of this sort of the women's side of the game, and they've seen the Lionesses win the Euros. And the opportunities are out there. Just that result in general has caused a massive spike in facilities and funding, not just in England but across other countries like USA. The women's football team is bigger than the men's over there, and it'll only keep growing as long as success is there and the want is there. I could turn my TV on a Saturday morning now and there's women on the telly.
Yep.
On Sky. There's constantly women's football. You can sit there and watch it. That's unheard of a few years ago.
But see, a big battle. I mean, we're watching the Southampton ladies are out on the pitch at the moment in front of us.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a watch out here, isn't there, boys, when you think about it? Because if you look at the attitudes out on the pitch, the fact that they cannot believe that they've got this opportunity as well, this is where our ladies are going to have to work that little bit harder as well. Because not only have they got, I think of all the mental battles that they've got today, not only have they got to get out on that pitch and actually do it in an environment that is so very different to Foundation Park or Cinder Lane in Fairford, where they normally play their home games on grass. But now they've got to battle against this as well. Where to these girls, this is going to be like a cut farm. I mean, look on their faces. 3 of them coming down behind us now in the stand. Look at the look on their faces.
Yeah. But in the same breath, like you say, our girls have been here and played here before, and they have put in a blinder of a result straight after the men's game, which meant there was a bumper crowd here of guys that stayed behind after the men's match to watch them play and inevitably thumped the other team 10-0, was it?
Yeah, Porton Rose in the cup.
You look at that, these girls have played here before and they've put on a show against a big crowd. This is new to all of these girls down here. Well, is it going to work in their favour, or are they going to fold and get a bit too worked up in the moment, have an adrenaline dump, and our girls can smash it? You never know. It can swing. The pendulum could swing either way. But fingers crossed it goes on our way today.
I mean, it'd be an interesting one for them, won't it? Because I mean, how many of those guys out there at the moment appear to be in tourist mode? running up into the stands, having the pictures taken, all the rest of it. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this unfolds. As you say, the girls have been here previously, so 10-0 thumping at Portland in the cup
in front of 700 fans.
In front of that was fairly impressive. And then Plymouth, the return here, where we got gubbed, albeit we were a little bit unlucky. Emily McGrogan picked up a knee injury early in the first half. Steph Bent had to go in goal. And from there on in, it was a little bit like Jake Wakeling being sent off after 40 seconds. That was the similar vibe out on the pitch. It was a matter of, just try and keep the ball away from our goal. And
they've got a point to prove today, haven't they?
Useful experiences, isn't it? So they've had a win here and they've had a defeat here. So
and they want that positive record back.
Yeah,
and they're going to fight for it, and it's going to be really entertaining.
So as we glance out onto the pitch, and again, you can see the Southampton ladies in full tourist mode,
getting a team photo,
posing for an impromptu team photo on our halfway line. Meanwhile, we know that our girls are in the changing room, getting themselves ready. They're all fired up. Conversations off the record with our girls, albeit they're happy to share it, is that they are all very much fired up today, determined to put on a show. They're expecting a crowd of approximately 500 to 600 people here today, so it's not going to be a million miles away from the Portland doubleheader. But growth's an interesting thing, right? I just want to spend a little bit of time talking about growth. Because if you consider the Portland game, to your point, Adam, we'd had a League Two fixture, 10,000 people in the stadium just prior to that, and after all the fans had washed out, there was like 700 people that decided to hang around and watch the women's game thereafter. Plymouth, there was a walk-up crowd of approximately 400 to 500. They're expecting maybe that again today. So you're talking about growth, right? If you're looking for key performance indicators of growth, here's an interesting one. The Southampton Broadbent Lounge's audiences have grown exponentially with our women-led content. Every time there's been a show, we've enjoyed like 20, 25%, 30% uplifts as well in terms of people showing an interest in what we're doing with the women's team out on the pitch. So it's going to be interesting to see today whether or not we're going to have another bumper listenership of people tuning in, or it will be interesting to see whether the impact of the sort of fairly lackluster, to be polite, performance yesterday of the men's team has had a knock-on effect to people that want to consume Swindon Town per se.
I think you will see some sort of an effect from the men's side. Personally, when the men's side have such a, like you put it, lackluster performance, you want to switch off from Swindon.
Recover on a Sunday?
Recover, yeah.
It's almost...
But then again, this is a good opportunity to recoup, to refresh, and especially if we get a result out of this.
Well, it would be a lovely antidote, wouldn't it? I mean, let's make no bones about it. No matter how good our ladies are out on the pitch today, they could thump this lot 9-0 and actually jump above them in the league today, and overturn that goal difference. Highly unlikely that will happen today. I mean, not necessarily the win, but
I'll tell you
the nature of the win. But it's not going to be an antidote, is it? And that's the thing. But I tell you, how about it? I just wanted to make this point, right? I left the house this morning, had to drive around the M25, M3, M4, got to the county ground. I was like a bear with a sore head all the way here. I've been inside the ground now 5 minutes, and my bad mood's lifted already. And we go again.
It's just a difference in attitude with the women's to the men's. Like, the women are just so happy to be here. They want to put on a performance. They're enjoying their football at the minute, and I just feel like it's a complete contrast in the mood that you get from the men's. Even when you meet the players before the match and you have a little chat, they're very cagey and quiet and just sort of like, I'm here. We're gonna play the match today. Hopefully we get a result. There's not. The enthusiasm seems to be dipping the more off results that we have. But just going back to that point you was on about with the growth of the women's game, if we have another double header in the future and there's 10,000 people in this stadium and only 700 stay behind, that needs to be more than 700. You want to make a statement, you'll make headlines, the women come out for a double header, 5,000 people stay, record crowd for Division 4 women's football. That proves a point. And it gets eyes on the game, and it helps it grow.
Yeah, it's a bit of a skewed one, isn't it? I mean, there are some, from what I understand, in terms of league regulations, there are some issues that might prevent a double header moving forward in the same way that you had a double header previously. So there are issues around access to changing rooms. There are issues around access, like the timings of access to the pitch, all this kind of stuff. And I think there was dispensation that was gained for the Portland game earlier in the season, which moving forward might prove a little bit more difficult. But it is an interesting one though, because I think that night was a big success for the women's football club here.
Yeah.
You know, 700 attending a Swindon Town women's game. I mean, like, you talk to the players, the management. That was literally like 7 times the previous record crowd. It was mind-numbingly amazing for them. But the problem that you've got is that it kind of, I don't know, I think it maybe set an unrealistic KPI. I think for me, I think the real indicator today, real key performance indicator for the women's football club today will be just how big the crowd is today versus how big it was at Plymouth.
Yeah.
And then again,
I'll tell you what it is. Swindon's a massive town, and the club's on this stadium is on your doorstep for a lot of people that live in Swindon. So, going out to the listeners, dip your hand in your pocket, pull £3 out of it, and get yourself a ticket. Because I guarantee you now, you'll probably come away in a better mood watching the women at this point of the season as you will do watching the men.
Look, like I said, I can only speak as a find that I can't tell you how bad a mood I was in. Like coming down here today, I was in a filthy mood this morning. Filthy mood. Well, in fact, look, let this be the test. AB, my beautiful daughter, how bad a mood was I in this morning in the car?
He didn't speak to me for the past 2.5 hours I was in the car.
Thank you very much. Now,
my missus got cylinders yesterday when I got home from the match. I'm telling you, but I had no time for no one yesterday.
But listen, I'm just your normal Swindon Town supporter, just like everyone else that's going to be stood here today in the stadium, sat here in the stadium. I can only speak as I find, right? If I come off the back of that filthy mood yesterday, I didn't want to see. It's like anything, isn't it? Normally, it takes I'm never coming back again. Blah blah blah, and then we're all here the next week, and it's the same old, and we go again, and it's the nature of football.
Out and I'll show face.
But there has been something magical about being able to, off the back of a defeat yesterday, being able to walk back into this stadium today and see the same thing that I see when I come to see the men's team here. Before the men get out on the pitch, it's the same sights. It's evoking all the old memories that I've got, all those good times, all those lovely experiences. I'm here with 2 of my mates and my daughter. I'm here having a good time. I'm here having a day out. I'm breathing the Wiltshire air. We can see the hills in the distance. Here we are,
there is something.
See the Brunel Centre over it. Look, it's all. This is still the same county ground, right? There is something about this experience that Swindon Town fans per se must come and embrace. I've not been paid to say. Have you been paid to say this? I've not been paid. Have you been paid to say this? Right. So no one's been paid to say this. I can only tell you how it feels. Earth-shatteringly, crushingly depressing. That result yesterday, end of season vibes, like the whole thing was truly awful. The nature of the defeat, I couldn't have felt more sick after that result. But there's something about the future of this football club. There is something about being able to turn up the day after and get that out of your system really quick.
Yeah.
Ellis, do you remember? It was just as you started engaging with us at on Broadbent Lounge, but we did a phone-in show the night of the Port Vale game.
Yeah, I certainly do.
8,500 people tuned in that night and listened to that show. And as we were going through, and we were like checking, who the hell are these people? We were going through huge swathes of them were Swindon Town supporters.
Yeah.
Now that still maintaining, that is still our record audience ever. But there was something in it, in the terms of the feedback that we got from people, how important they felt it was, that show, in terms of being able to just get stuff off their chest. People joined in with the show. People just listened. They found it very cathartic.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is, today's a little bit like that. And I really do think there is something in the ability to be able to just get a defeat. If your team loses, like come back the next day, get it out of your system. If we've lost away from home, turn up at the county ground. It's almost, even if we could get it to a stage where every single week you could come to the county ground to watch a game of football.
Yeah.
There is something in that.
Couldn't make it to the away game, but the women are at home on Sunday, so that's your weekend sorted. You're still getting your football fix. You're still getting down the county ground, having your warm drink and your pies. And
Your football fix. There's the term, Adam, isn't it? It's your football fix. Does it matter?
We all do it.
Does it matter that we're going to be watching a team of completely different gender out there?
It
does not matter, does it?
We all do it as football fans. When our season ends, you end up watching some random Belgian football or German football stuff like that. When we first come back from lockdown, then the first game was like Dortmund versus whoever it was. Like everyone tuned in to watch it just to get a fix of watching some football.
And look, the memories that this place holds for every Swindon fan, promotions, goals. Yeah,
not for me.
But this place holds so many memories, and you touched on it, Hannah's. You feel it when you're here, and just to be able to watch a game of football here, it's a bit of a release.
And wouldn't it be, if you're all right? So if you're a young fan, they're so accessible, our ladies, aren't they? They're great for a start. They're gregarious characters, let me tell you. Gregarious characters. So, I mean, I could literally go through them, like from back to front, and talk to you about the personalities and how we've got to know these girls. And, I mean, we've had a large groups of them on the show now, and they're always such great fun. But there's something about, if I'm a younger fan, the idea of coming to the county ground and growing up with this group of players, or growing up with this, I don't want to call it a club because it's our club. It's all part of the club now, but it's the team, isn't it? It's growing up with the ladies' team, being able to say that you were there at this point, not quite the genesis point, because that would be disrespectful to the work that's been done by the people that have come before the James Lalleys of this world, and before the Tom Hartleys of this world, and the Mandy Coes of this world. But there's something about kind of being here, being able to kind of follow that growth. And imagine how you can feel in 3 years' time when you look back and go, God, do you remember when we used to turn up here and there were like 300-400 people watching?
Yeah.
So here's a question then, and don't over-egg the omelette. How long do you think it's going to be before you start getting four-figure crowds on a regular here?
On a regular?
Watching the women's team. What would be your gut feeling, Ellis?
Well, I think a progression in standard, for the league playing a higher standard, I think that will play a part into it. You're playing if you're playing bigger teams, you're going to draw in bigger crowds. Mm-hmm. It's the same with the men's team. So I think that will play a part, and just exposure. I think what we're doing, stuff like this, on the shows on Wednesday evenings, talking to the women, I think that plays a part into it. People understanding the players. So in terms of on regular four-figure crowds, 3 years, 4 years maybe, especially if we're moving up the leagues, improving the standard of football, and opportunities like this, being at the county ground, broadcasting, doing alt comms, and I think give it 3 years, and I think
3 years and regular four-figure crowds. What about you, Adam? You have a similar mindset? Do you think they?
No, I think if the growth of the women's game carries on the same trajectory and the same speed that it is currently going, it'll be a few years yet, but I can see it happening. At this present moment in time, all the focus is on the Women's Super League. And it's only a matter of time, like in football in general, like the men's game, that money will start trickling down and things will start getting improvements for the league below and the league below that. Back in 1969 when we was beating Arsenal and the likes of that, when everything was a lot more of a level playing field. Obviously, football sort of hit the stratosphere these days. But, it's only a matter of time before that happens with the women's game. And the game gets bigger, which means the lower leagues benefit from that also. But what also is going to help is, the women in the Super League, they're at clubs where the training ground has got a full-blown stadium, essentially.
Yep.
And that's an experience in itself. You watch it on the telly and you go, I'll tell you what, as an Arsenal fan, I can't go and watch Arsenal this week. The women are playing at the training ground around the corner in a stadium. I can go there. I can still have my match day experience. Mm-hmm. You watch it on telly and you decide you want to go and watch it. When this level starts getting televised and people can see it, and that attraction then comes, people will decide, one day, I'm going to go down there, pay a couple of quid and go and watch it. it all depends on the speed that the game grows. I think it's the same with all sports.
All right, so we're sat in the county ground now. We've got Foundation Park behind us, just to take on board that logic. And if we think about Chelsea, for example,
well, look at City. Their training ground is a full-on stadium.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. Man City women have got their own stadium. They don't play in the City of Manchester Stadium. Chelsea play at Kingstonian. Interestingly enough, Kingstonian, the former home of AFC Wimbledon, and again, it's a completely different. It's they're not going to be able to fill Stamford Bridge, are they, from the outset?
Yeah.
But the idea of sticking more stands around Foundation Park for a start certainly feels like the logical step. How are we, Rob?
Good. You guys are
Very well. Well, we're live, Rob. Have you come to join us? How are we, Rob Angus, CEO? How are we, Rob?
Yeah, not too bad.
Recovered from yesterday?
Just about. Late one. That was a late one, early one yesterday.
What time did you get back? What time did you get home, Rob?
About 10:30, I think it was.
Very disappointing. Very disappointing.
Yeah, it was, mate. It was, unfortunately. Another one where we let it slip at the death, unfortunately.
Well, but here we are today, Rob. We were just saying about. I was in a filthy mood. I'll get your take on this, Rob, as CEO. I was in a filthy mood this morning, coming down the M4, filthy mood. But it took me all of 5 minutes walking into the county ground, taking a good old lungful of West Country air and seeing these beautiful stands and our beautiful pitch before magically my mood lifted. And I think there's something really interesting in that for the future of women's football in Swindon, Rob. I don't know whether that is a phenomenon that you've discussed at board level, but the idea of whether you win, whether you lose, but certainly if you lose, the opportunity to come and get it out of your system within 24 hours on the Swindon Town estate, that's got to be something that the club want to cash in on.
Yeah, look, I think it's it's great that we're back here today, and you say using this wonderful old stadium that obviously is now ours with the supporters and the club together, and seeing the women's team out there, takes the the frustration out of the result yesterday, and you can get into this and look, we're building the building blocks are getting there. We've got the foundations are getting there, and it will in time, turn to success on the pitch. Just frustration at that moment, but I think this is a real signal of intent on the women's side. That we are looking going forwards to invest in the women's team, having more games here. Obviously, Foundation Park have been brilliant as well, and we, as we look to take the men's team up the league, we want to do the same with the women's team.
Do you think it's realistic, Rob, for us to? So a lot of the conversations we've been having prior to you shooting up the stairs to talk to us, do you think it's realistic at some point, given how well our pitch holds up and what a great job Marcus does out there, that we could get to a stage where the games are alternating like that, where maybe one week it's the men, the next week's the women, or it's men on a Saturday, women on a Sunday? Do you think, is that a realistic prospect for Swindon, given I appreciate Foundation Park's just over the way here? What do you think would be the realistic sort of medium-term hope?
Yeah, I think that there's opportunities. I think the difficult time is from sort of November to around about March, because obviously in the winter the pitch doesn't repair as well. I learned
no matter who plays on there,
who plays on it. Yeah, so and Marcus, is trying to teach me and inform me about all the pitch science and the rest. And he, as you say, does a great job. But it is the difficult time in the winter months where the grass isn't going, the pitch isn't repairing. This time of year, and around about November, it works because the pitch is growing. It's a good pitch. Marcus is a really good groundsman, and it works. So I think we just got to make the most of that sort of period of the year. And then, in the harder months where it doesn't get the light on the pitch, it's not sort of growing as much. Use the likes of Foundation Park and other options. So it's getting that balance. But the other thing to say, and Marcus will said this, we've had lots of conversation like this. Doesn't provide the same sort of damage to the pitch as the men's playing on it. That's the women are lighter, slightly different areas of the ground as well that get impacted. So he's generally happier for a women's game here than a training session for Jodie Morris and the girls.
Yes, I can imagine. So we're another conversation, Rob, we were having, and again we talked about almost like Foundation Park as being like a separate entity. How they're really good with the club, but. Do you think there would be an option further down the line for more stands at Foundation Park, and maybe that gets turned into like a home, just like what they've got at Manchester City?
Yeah, we are talking to John and Shane at Foundation Park. They do a great job, and we work really closely together. They are looking at additional stands and funding for that as well. There are increasing requirements on the women's game, though, in terms of stands and stuff like that. So we've got to look at that as well. So they're trying to raise the standards. The FA and the women's game is saying that games have to be played in certain facilities with a certain amount of stands, covered stands, standing and stuff like that. So that's something we've got to look at going forwards with together with John and Shane at Foundation Park. And obviously the county ground covers it fine, but at the moment Foundation Park probably wouldn't without some investment.
And also, I mean, being realistic, whilst it's lovely that we can have games here at the county ground, there's still an awful, even at the moment, we've got to be realistic with the growth of the women's team here. There's an awful lot of space left in the stands, isn't there? And there's pluses and minuses to having sparsely populated stands, isn't there? I mean, even a sparsely populated Hartlepool still leaves, and I guess what I'm saying is there's a lot of wasted resource here, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, we try and do this, in the most efficient way you can, but obviously putting games on at the county ground with the requirements that we have to follow, even for a game where we've just got the Hartlepool stand open, are quite a bit and cost quite a bit of money. So you have to balance that in. You're right. You try and do it as efficiently as you can, but you've got to put your safety officer, your stewards, your medical people here and stuff like that, as you would do. If this was I guess the nearest equivalent would be like a Papa John's Trophy game. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
You've got to have all that sort of same sort of standards there, really. So that sort of balance it through. And you also want this to be, you want to balance it so this is quite a special occasion. People come out for it, and you want the girls to feel like it's a special occasion as well. So we're definitely going to do more. It's having that balance, as I say, in the winter months. That is, from the pitch repairing and from that sort of side, which is something you've got to really think about.
And moving forward, Rob, like synergies with the men's team, obviously there are slight variations at the moment with the women's kits. There is an availability of women's kits and branded women's merchandise in the club shop and things like that. That's all stuff that the club are working on, is it, moving forward?
Yeah. So the kits next season will be aligned. The sponsors will be different. The sponsors will be different for the, obviously, because you want sponsors to the women's team. You want to generate revenue there, so we can invest more money into the women's team, which we will do quite significantly next year as we look to take them up the league along with the men's team. But there will be more alignment, and I think you do see a different. I think you're going to see a slightly different set of fans coming to the women's game to the men's game. It'd be great if we can get them all coming to both, and more people here. But it was great. I saw a message earlier about how it was great to see a number of games across the Women's National League today played at main stadiums like the County Ground and various others as well. So I think it really shows how important we feel the women's team is for the future of the football club. Alongside the men's side, obviously the academy. I think, as I said, I think we're getting the foundations in place and the future's bright. Albeit, we're still all a bit sore about the result from yesterday.
Yeah, we're all sulking about that, Rob, and I'm doing my best to be tactful and say the right things here, Rob. But yes, no, it was a hard one to take yesterday. What can you tell us about yesterday, Rob, in terms of how it affects the rest of the season in your mind? Because obviously, I appreciate that it wouldn't have been a massively happy camp. Swindon per se, travelling back down from the northeast was. What if there was something you could say to Swindon fans between now and the end of the season? What would it be?
Well, I would say stay positive. We're getting the building blocks there in terms of, as I said, the stadium. The support from the Swindon fans has been amazing. There's 430 odd at Hartlepool yesterday, which was great. The season ticket sales we've had this year, the gates we've had is great. So stay with us, stick with us, because the more you stick with us, the more we can build for the future, and we will get it right. So we on the pitch this season hasn't been the season that we wanted or we expected, or a return for the investment that we put in, because we put in quite a lot more than we did last year. But if you build those foundations up and we continue with your support and sticking with us, we will get there. We will get there.
And I guess that's the thing, Rob. Is you're obviously, whilst you're CEO now, wasn't that long ago? You still sit in the stands for us now. So I don't mean to be overly disparaging. But you'll remember some of the frustrations of past sort of sticky periods that the club have been through. I guess it is that there is that element of there is a lot of what's the word for it? There's a lot of discord at the moment on social media around renewing of season tickets, and there's a lot of frustration and a lot of ultimatums being thrown around. But to your point, and just to develop on that again, if it's not to be this season. It's got, for us, everyone's saying, well, we've got to have a good season next season. We're going to get there a lot quicker if people are actually, again, just swallowing the bitter pill. Yeah, you know, and sticking by the club going into next season. Not a lot to be had folding your arms and saying I'm going to be a World Cup punter next year if you're a season ticket holder.
Well, how would you feel if we go on and absolutely demolish the league next season? And if you don't have a season ticket, you're going to miss it.
Yeah.
Imagine saying, I missed that season.
I don't like saying this in front of my CEO, but it would be the most Swindon-y of things, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
For us to, you know, take the frustration of, you know, the current period and start next season absolutely blitzing it and doing a Leyton Orient.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, but speaking of, I mean, we've got some interesting fixtures, Rob, haven't we, at the county ground between now and the end of the season. And I think I was looking for positives off the back of yesterday's result, and certainly that Crawley game is looking spicier and spicier with every passing week. The return of Scott Lindsay, Ben Gladwin, and now, of course, Anthony Grant. Looking forward to that, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely, and there could well be quite a lot riding on that for them and for others in the league. I think, you know, when we left yesterday, the Hartlepool guys were obviously wishing us well on that game at the end of the season, because
I bet they were
critical for them. But I think you're right, Angus. In terms of, I know, you know, things haven't been where we want them to be this season on the pitch. It hasn't worked out as well as we had, as I said, despite the investment. But if everyone sticks with us, we'll get it right. You know, the foundations are coming. You know, people buying season tickets, buying tickets still coming. All helps, and that investment will be there next season. We'll learn and we'll get things right, and we will get out of this league. And that's very much the aim, that we've got to do that. But the only way we can do that, if we all stick together, all stick with the club that we support and we love through thick and thin. And you know, what I've learned as a Swindon fan over the years, you know, obviously we've had, you know, more lows than highs probably, but that makes the highs even better when they come.
Amen. Well, there you are, Chief Executive Rob Angus. Thank you, Rob. Cheers for popping up.
Great today.
No, you're very welcome, mate. You're very welcome. We'll have a prediction from you, actually, Rob, before you scuttle off. What do you think we're going to see today?
I think the Swindon women's team's going to win 2-1 today. I think it'll be quite a tight game. So I think we've played Southampton before. I think they've had a bit of a measure on us, but I think we'll win 2-1 today. I think the crowd here, we'll be around about 350 people here, which is decent. I think hopefully a few more will come listening to you guys. You know, and I think that will inspire the team. And you know, again, you know, there's not a chance of promotion for the women's team this season, but we're building for next season, and there will be investment, you know, in the women's side, and we'll look to go and get a double promotion next year, both for the men and the women.
I would say, Rob, I say this most Saturdays, but if you are listening to us at the moment, as lovely as it is that you're listening to us at the moment, get off your backsides, get down here. Doesn't look like rain at the moment. A little bit breezy, but the county ground pitch is looking beautiful. Players are out there on the pitch warming up. It's a proper sort of 6-pointer vibe as well, because this lot are 3 points ahead of us with a vastly superior goal difference. But we win this game today, we pull level on points, hopefully close the goal difference gap, of course. And then it's all to play for next week as well. So if pride is at stake today, you know, you want to finish as high up the league as you possibly can. And you can only beat the team that are directly above you, right, with just that 3-point gap. So should be a drama. So get off your backsides and get yourself down here. And Rob, have a word with that steward. He's wearing a blinking Arsenal rucksack. I'm not having it.
I'll have a word now.
So just remind him what happened in 1969 on League Cup final day.
Absolutely. I'll hand him a Swindon backpack.
Cheers, Rob.
Cheers, Rob. Yeah, it's. I mean, listen, we speak to. We talk to, you know, we talk to Rob live most weeks, don't we? And,
yeah.
I mean, the thing is, Rob has been a supporter. The same number of years that I have. Rob has breathed the same air that we've all breathed. He shares the same frustrations. It was palpable there, Ellis, wasn't it? Talking to him.
Yeah.
That
wounded.
There's probably a lot that he would have liked to have said if we were after the watershed.
Yeah.
It's fair to say. The thing that I find with Rob is that, I don't know how you two boys feel about it. He's so important to the current football administration at our football club. I think Rob is the one that feeds the belief for so many Swindon Town fans at the moment, isn't he?
100%.
He's that sort of like medium, isn't he, between the fans and the club? You got the transfer of what the fans want and what the fans' opinions are, twisting that onto a business sort of head, and being that sort of medium. He understands the business, but he's also a fan of the club, so he knows what we want and what we expect. and he makes sure 100% that gets through to the guys at the top. And I think that's something, we talked about it when he came on the show a few weeks ago, wasn't it? That, having someone who's a fan of the club, someone who actually cares about the club, as opposed to just a sugar daddy who's in it for the, a bit of profit and up and do one. Having people that care is something that a club needs in football to avoid things like Macclesfield and Bury happening to anyone else.
100%. I think it's really important that you have a figurehead, a person like Rob within the club. We've had a lot of changes within the past couple of years in terms of the business side and the football side of the club, and to have, such a good, not only businessman in terms of having that experience working at Nationwide, but like Adam said, he's also a fan of the club, and it's finding the balance.
Well, I mean, I'll put it to you like this. I mean, I was very outspoken on the socials last night about the need for leadership moving forward. I think this is the most bizarre period in Swindon Town history for me, because never have things off the pitch seemingly been so good.
Yeah.
You've got an owner that's absorbed the vast majority of the £7 million debt that he inherited from the previous owners, or rather he took on from the previous owners. He's inherited that. He's converted that into a director's loan, of which and this is all a matter for public record. He's openly come out and said that's a 0%. He's not charging interest on that. Yeah. So 0%. Yeah, of course, at some point he would like to get his money back, but it's not like
he takes a strain off us.
There's no deadlines that's been set for any of that, right? So, so far so good. Everything hunky-dory. But then you've got this ludicrous situation on the pitch at the moment where the performance side is the worst. I'm going to put this into perspective, boys. You're stood here, you're both half my age. Christ, that makes me feel old. This is the worst position in the league Swindon Town Football Club has been in my tenure as a supporter.
Where are we now then after yesterday?
It makes me feel thoroughly sick. Where are we in the table now? It's a very good
11th.
question. I'll leave
11th. Well, we finished 13th under Phil Brown.
Right.
So not quite as bad, but it's going that way.
Yeah, but in terms of football...
Yeah. To your point, okay, so the Phil Brown thing, let me put that into perspective. So, we're talking about actual physicals on the league, right? Look at Rochdale.
Shocking.
Look at yesterday.
Shocking.
Look at the nature of the performance. I have not seen such a glass-jawed...
Gutless.
Even that Phil Brown side didn't make me feel as negative about the side as I do at the moment. And I'm not pointing fingers at any individual player and going, you're crap, you got to go, you've down tools, this, that, and the other. I don't see it like that.
As a collective, they're just not gelling.
What I don't even know, for me, Adam, whether it's about gelling. For me, it's much more about it's much more about the collective that have been put together. Are they fit for purpose? So I think as a team, I think they've got a way of playing. I think.
I think as individual players, a lot of them, they are very, very talented players. It's just as it's come together, it's just not going. And I don't.
Well, look, some of it has been disrupted. Some of it has been. I mean, the discipline. Let's try and break this down, because to try and pick apart one of my tweets from last night, let's break some of this down into subsections. Right, discipline. What have we had now? 12 red cards this season.
Honestly,
all competitions. 12 red cards.
5-game match ban for side who can't.
Well, let's say on average, attach a 2-game ban. Right, we've lost 24 matches of players through red cards alone. So that's not counting the build-up of yellow cards. Right, we're just talking red cards alone. Let's just work on an average of, say, 2 games, because some red cards you get 3 games, some red cards you get 1 game. So let's just say on average 2. The science is a little bit woolly, but go with me on that. Right, so you're talking 24 odd games.
That's half
where
a
we've
season.
lost the key and key players we're talking about, boys, as well, aren't we?
Well, last year we were absolutely pulling our hair out at Harry McCurdy getting a red card. If you were to tell us our record this season, I would not believe it. It's silly. It's silly.
It's like you're saying, 24 games we've had players suspended for, roughly. That's over half the season where someone who would have been in our starting lineup hasn't been there, and we've had to makeshift it. Has it got to the point where it's almost happened that much that they've built the chemistry on the pitch anyway?
It's a very good point, Adam, because imagine if we signed a key player that you expected to be in the 1 to 11 and then you lost them for half a season. When that player comes back, you're going, it's like a new signing. Yeah. That is literally what we've had, but spread throughout the season. So that's your discipline issue, all right? And we are talking about important players like, as you say, McCurdy at the start of the season. You know, I
forgot he was even with us.
Yeah,
long of a season.
It's crazy, right? Losing Saidu Khan, multiple occasions this season. Big, but huge player for us. And to put this into perspective for you, I remember being at Woking pre-season where word got to us from a club official that a deal had been agreed to sign Saidu Khan, who had been the standout player in the conference. In the standout player in the conference last season. The one that everybody wanted, and we got him. So big player. Whether or not anyone that's listening to this at the moment thinks, he's come up for the conference. Like, at our level, one division above, he was the big player. So you could argue it was a bit like maybe Port Vale, unlikely as it was, coming and pinching Jack Payne off us.
Yeah.
They've gone up and we've nicked Payne. It's like that level of signing. So you're thinking, big signing. To your point, we've lost him key points
Countless
this season.
Times.
Christ, I mean, who else?
Hepburn Murphy,
of course. Hepburn Murphy, just as Hepburn Murphy was hitting his stride as well. It was a cruel blow, that
Jay Wakelin, Stockport.
Wakelin, of course.
Didn't we lose him to suspension as well? Was it accumulation of yellows?
That was injury.
No, I think we lost him on a suspension as well.
So we've been losing. This is the point. We've been losing key players, right? Suspensions. Let's park your discipline, because now we're talking about like all the kind of like all your various sort of the sort of performance areas. Let's say around recruitment. How many times have we talked about recruitment? I mean, it's been threaded throughout this conversation, hasn't it? We've not recruited well this season. No. We've not recruited well this season. But for me, crucially, it's been about losing So take yesterday. For me, it was no surprise that when we lost Johnny Williams, we lost Charlie Austin, we lost the game. In January, we lost Ben Gladwin. We lost Angus McDonald. Like, whether or not Lou Reed, like whether or not you rated Angus McDonald, look at where we were in the table with Angus McDonald in the team. Look at where we were in the table when we, Ben Gladwin was one of those players that some of those games, take yesterday, Ben Gladwin would be one of those players where at 1-0, he'd pick it up from 25 yards out and he'd ping one in the top corner. You knew he had that in his locker.
Or he'd just run it through the midfield and carry the ball for you.
That in itself brings a certain amount of belief to your teammates, doesn't it? A certain, like, if you're out on the pitch with him, you're like, that guy can produce a moment of magic.
Yeah.
So he's got the experience, but he's also got that magic factor to him as well. So recruitment's not just been about the players that have come in, it's been about the players that we've let go as well. And yeah, all right, you can talk about the impact of our wage bill, those players on our wage bill, this, that and the other. But the fact is, even if we've got rid of them to bring players in, the players that we've brought in January, collectively, haven't delivered what we've needed, have they? No. George McEachran, really good player. Jake Kane, really good player. But to your point about gelling, Adam, the boys that have come in off the back of us letting our experience go out the door have not delivered us.
Yeah, they've been expected to fill the shoes of the guys that have had a lot more experience at this level of football as senior players.
Yeah.
And that's a big ask for these young guys. Yeah, you go back to Angus. I was his heaviest critic. I absolutely just couldn't stand like what he was doing on the pitch. But the defensive slips and errors that we're having now since his departure is an absolute joke. And he seems to be living the high life at Aberdeen now. He's having quite a good time up there.
Yeah, they love him up there, don't they, old Aberdeen Angus? They love what he's bringing to the table. I think for me, it's with Angus McDonald, whether you liked him as a player, it's the organisation that a player like him brings along. He never struck me as being a big barker, but you would see him directing his teammates. You see him directing his teammates around, like you see him organising. You look at how those goals came about yesterday, where and indeed against Rochdale, where the midfield were just sauntering back while they're like midfielders tearing forward and letting loose on Solbren's goal.
Well, we just looked good for the first half, and we were constantly putting them under pressure. It was like every time they got the ball, we had it back within seconds. That first half, we were constantly putting them under pressure and forcing heavy touches, and we were winning the ball from the heavy touches. And then in the second half, it was just like, where did that team go? It was completely two different teams, and it's been that case too many times this season, and it ain't going to change by the end of this season.
Well, look,
Take it on the chin.
Tacticals then. Let's move on to the tacticals, okay? So, Scott Lindsay was getting a lot of heat, before a popular change was made and Scott was shown the door, and Jody Morris has been brought in as well. And it seemed to be, even though we weren't necessarily winning games, like right at the start of his tenure, there seemed to be there's some green shoots there, but you're starting to hear those dissenters coming out now, aren't you? You're starting to hear a lot of people put the case against Jody Morris to the front of the agenda at the moment. Let's take Rochdale and let's take today. And if you want to take Stockport as well, albeit it's a bit of an outlier because we played the majority of the game with 10 men. Yeah. So let's just take Rochdale and let's just take Hartlepool in isolation. Is there anything you think Jody could have done differently, or is there anything that the manager should have done to have affected those two performances? Because let's be honest, for me, that's rock bottom stuff. I can't dress it up any other way. Those two performances are two of the worst, most gutless performances I have seen from a Swindon Town team. The latter stages of those games, it was fragile, I think it was what Jody Morris said. Fragile. It was beyond fragile for me. It was shattered.
Tactically, Jody Morris as a manager, I quite like. You can see the organisation in the team at kickoff. It just appears like towards the latter ends of the game, the players just almost seem to just get disorganised and just almost give up with the whole game plan. And we always talk about managers, right? Managers don't come in a lot of the time. You've got managers that come in and they play to the strengths of the players. And you've got some managers that will come into a club and they will have a set way of how they want football to be played, and they will build their team around that sort of tactical setup. And I think Jody is one of these managers where if he gets the team that he wants, that he thinks can play the way that he wants them to play, that is when we'll flourish as a club. I just think at the minute, with the players he's got and the way he wants them to play, they sort of take it on board and they do it to start with, and then it just seems to all fall apart.
I think
but when we have things like injuries and players coming off, and certain scenarios like suspension, people getting sent off and whatnot, the way he reorganises that team on the pitch. We saw it against Stockport when we went 1-0 when we lost Wakeling. How long it took Stockport to break us down to score a goal? What was it, 86 minutes against 10 men before they managed to score a goal? The way that he can reorganise a team in situations like that is the signs of a top manager that is only going to improve. It's just the team at the minute, it's almost like a combination of them not sticking by his playing style and being able to do it, and also the fact that they're starting to lose hope.
For me, a lot of it comes down to substitutions that are being made. Yesterday, prime example, we take Charlie Austin and Johnny Williams off.
I think Charlie's was for a knock though.
Yeah, but the amount of times Charlie Austin's come off and we've conceded, it's not a coincidence. And whether that's down to the substitutions and the players themselves that are coming on, it's a tricky one.
Are they playing for Jody?
That's
Are they playing for Jody?
No.
So I'm going to put this to you. Do you think, and I'm just going to play devil's advocate here because I haven't got any insider information on this. Cross my heart, hope to die, stick a needle in my eye. I really have no insider information on this, but I just want to be devil's advocate here. My gut feeling on all of this is that the season is done and quite a few of the players in our squad, their careers at Swindon Town are already done.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that they're going to be playing between now and the end of the season for no other reason than because
for a move elsewhere.
what are your alternatives for a start? Yep. That the club needs to clearly keep them in a shop window in order for them to be able to secure moves elsewhere. Now, what an awful environment to then be operating in. If you know that your days are numbered and you know that the manager that's going to be managing you next season, we all say, let's work on the assumption we believe Jodie's going to be here next year. What an awful predicament to find yourself in. Test of character, granted. Test of character, because actually, if someone said to you, right, I'm going to show you the door, you would like to think that the professional inside you would be right. I'm going to take your words and I'm going to shove them right up your hoot.
Or as a player, you want to finish strong because you want to create a move for yourself as best as possible. You know, if you're playing well, it's going to attract the bigger teams.
Yeah, even if you're on your way out the door, you want to prove yourself. But look, right, so here's a point then. Looking towards the end of the season now, anyone who's like obviously jumping on the bandwagon and getting rid of Jodie, we're at a point in the season now where we've spent a lot of money on Jodie to get him through the door. And the better circumstances are going to be him to build his own team ready for next season, because we've already got him there compared to the other candidates that we've got. It's too late in the season now to bring in someone else who's arguably going to be a worse off manager than what we've currently got, and the money that we've spent on getting Jodie. You bring someone in now, nothing changes. You've then got to see what that person wants to deal with come the start of next season. We've already got Jodie in the door. We've got Ed in the door. See out the season. Let him build what he needs to build for next season, and I think we will start taking off.
But for me, Adam, this is the reason why you've got these substandard performances that you've got at the moment, though, because I don't believe the current crop of players are playing for Jodie. I don't believe they are. But at the same time, I'm not pointing fingers necessarily. I don't know whose direction, in fact, I'm pointing fingers at the moment. I just think if you put yourself in a position where you're working for an employer that's probably is he making it clear that, you know, is he talking to these players? You know, is he engaging with them, or has he already told people that actually, do you know what, you're not going to be in my plans next season? You know, whatever is going on at the moment. And I'm working on that being my hypothesis, right? I'm not going to. You know, because you've got to consider, like, well, if I put it in between now and the end, what happens if I get injured between now and the end of the season? What happens if, because that's the flip side of the argument, Ellis, isn't it? To wanting to finish strong.
Yeah, 100%.
If I go out there and I pick up an injury between now and the end of the season, then that's me totally buggered for next year, because I'm not in Swindon's plans. I might be out of contract. I've got to go and find myself a club.
Well, that's the trouble. All of our players are on long-term contracts. The majority are. They're on 3-year deals, 2-year deals. So
we've got to keep them in the shop window, basically. But at the same time,
our longer-term deals are coming with these youngsters, which is more Jodie's kettle of fish with the youth coaching. That would work in our favour, but I don't really know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'd like to think Jodie will stay because of, you know, what the club did to get him through the door, and I think other people that you could bring in, they're not going to be that. They're not of the calibre of a Chelsea youth coach.
I put it this way: before the season, before Jodie was appointed, look at the league table. Now look at the league table.
That would have been the same, I think, personally.
Under Lindsay?
Under
Do you
Lindsay,
think we're already on the slip?
We were already on the way down.
Well, interestingly enough, we've had a tweet from Luke. Hello, Luke. Hope you're well, mate. Good afternoon. Luke's tweeted, they are simply a picture of the table. And he says they aren't playing for Jodie. Now, it's an interesting league table because it's the league table that shows if the league table had started after the 5-2 away win at Mansfield, our current form shows us sitting one place above the relegation. Well, sorry, we're in the relegation spot, but 1 point above rock bottom. That is how bad our form has been post-Mansfield. That's really worrying when you consider going into next season and the need to completely tear up what's happened this year and start all over again. Look, we'll go back to that.
We need another COVID to end the season today.
God, could you imagine? Right, so here's a big conversation for you then. How sick are you at the notion of ripping it all up and starting all over again? Now it's interesting, isn't it? Because at League Two, most clubs actually do rip it up and go again the following season if they've not got promoted. That churn has just become the norm now. That, you know, there are so many free agents available at the end of the season. Most clubs rip it up, start again. There's something about it at Swindon, though, that just seems to get our hackles up at the moment, isn't it?
I'm sick of it, but at this point, I would be more sick if we kept the same squad and thought that we could still do something better next season. I think it does need completely overhauling, and that's something you get used to as a lower league team. Every season, it gets, like you say, it gets ripped up and starts again, and all it comes down to every season, whoever has success in League Two is who got it right with the rejig. That's literally all it is. Who these free agents you bring in and the loan players, who gets it right that season? And we got it right with Richie Wellens that season. The players we brought in a sense, we got it right last season with the players that we managed to get in on the frees and the loanies and the old misfits that we like to call them.
Yep.
We got it right. Didn't work out in the end, but it was showing good signs. This season, we've got we've sort of like perked all the fans up by going, oh yeah, we've got all these Chelsea youngsters, yeah, we've got a Bristol City Academy bloke, we've got this, that, and other, all these big clubs with their youth players that we've brought in, and everyone's gone, oh yeah, that sounds good, and it just hasn't happened. It hasn't come to fruition. It's just pants.
All right, so if someone's overseeing, you're ripping it up and starting again next season. Does that man for you have to be Jody? And if so, does Jody have to be given the opportunity to exercise his own little black book?
Well, for me, it can't be Sandro because he's been in charge this season and it's been pants. So
that needs changing.
And that's you can't argue with that, because you ask any Swindon Town supporter, the majority will say recruitment, the players that we brought in they've just not been good enough. So someone else needs to do it, whether that's Jody Morris himself. I'm sure he's got plenty of contacts. Being the head youth coach at Chelsea, I'm sure he has got contacts. But maybe he doesn't want to do that. Maybe he doesn't want to be in charge of that. So do we bring another sort of director of football in, something like that?
Adam, what about for you, mate? The whole, if we are going to rip it up and start again next season, is it a question of who oversees that ripping up and starting again? And who is going to be responsible for the recruitment going into next season after the debacle of this season? Bearing in mind who you've got in the manager's office, and who we've currently got, in charge of the current recruitment model.
We keep Jody. I like Clem to dip his fingers in a bit more in terms of the decisions that are being made. Sandro has proven this season that this whole stats-based recruiting and all of that rubbish that worked for Brentford because they're a bigger club, but it hasn't worked here. Throw that out the window. Old school League Two recruitment. Address that issue first.
But even that, though, you've got to be so careful, right? Because let's go back a few seasons. David Flitcroft did just that. Old school League Two recruitment, brought in a lot of old school hardened leaders, your Perkises, your Lancashires. These were guys that at their previous clubs were I don't want to say like the Angus McDonalds of their clubs, but like Perkis was known. Ben Perkis, obviously ends up becoming like, the chair of the PFA. So he's got that about him. He's got that. He's got those.
The Flitcroft wasn't bad.
Oh.
It wasn't as bad as what we've got now.
Well, no, true.
We've had a lot worse. And when he first came in and started doing what he was doing, the town end was singing his name. We were believing that something was going to go somewhere, and then didn't he up and leave?
Yep, Mansfield.
Things fell apart.
Yes.
Okay. There's got to be a balance, right? We as a fan base, we've all come to the agreement, I think 99% of it, that Sandro it hasn't worked, and a lot of people are starting to really get the gripe with him at the minute. I think address that situation.
But what is addressing that situation, Adam, in your mind? What is addressing that situation?
Just a change. Because it hasn't worked. Clem and Rob and everyone, Jody even needs to sit there and go, right, the recruitment model doesn't work. Draft up a new idea of what they're going to do. So let Jody and the new director of recruitment or whatever work together on a squad that players that Jody wants, and then can we facilitate that? Can we maybe these players are similar, and then they work together and build a team that they think, as a chairman all the way down perspective, what they think is going to do us any favours.
For me, guys, right? For me, it's all about responsibility. Somebody taking responsibility for what's happened out on the pitch,
but
right?
no one's held their hands up.
And this is where I blew my lid last night, because I have two big issues at the moment in relation to the performance side of our football club. One is that I want to see someone actually come out and show some leadership. I want someone to come out and actually, put their hand up and go, do you know what? It's on me. And therein lies my second point, which is I want someone to take responsibility. I want someone to come out and go, no, do you know what? It's not been great this year. And actually explain, well, exactly what has gone wrong, and not make excuses. I want someone to. It's very easy to talk about managerial selections and due diligence, and we had to do our due diligence. I'm not being funny. If Forest Green Rovers can go and secure themselves Duncan Ferguson in the space of 48 hours, why should it take us 5 to 6 weeks to go and secure a manager that has thus far in this league proven that he has to take us backwards in order for us to then go forwards? Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong.
You look at the calibre Duncan Ferguson is as a manager, and even he's struggling at Forest Green.
Yeah, he's
not the manager. It's the, it's the behind the scenes, it's the players. It all comes as a collective, and everyone's so quick to dive on the manager when, at the minute we're quite in the dark with some of the other points behind the scenes. When was the last time anyone's even heard from Sandro about anything?
Well, I guess this is what I get. Listen, I don't know whether I'm not going to be the guy that is going to hang all of my angst on him and say that it's clearly all on him.
It's a collective.
He's a cog in a machine, right? Yeah. And for me at the moment, the machine's not working. Now, there's so many points that we've made there, like trying to pick some of them apart. But the stats-based recruitment, the head of recruitment himself has come out and said we signed one player this year based on data alone. And that was Saidu Khan, I believe it was, that was signed on data alone. And all clubs are using data. I actually think that that's been massively overplayed and massively overblown, this data model, right? But I do, for me, I wonder. I'm always going to go. I don't want to repeat myself, but I'm always going to be asking questions about a recruitment model that in January sees you lose your senior leaders from the dressing room and replace them with kids. And don't get me wrong, hindsight's a wonderful thing and all of that, but what we've seen has borne fruit. Like what we've seen since those players have gone out the door has borne fruit, right? The team has dropped out of the playoff places, and not just dropped out of playoff places, but we are literally in the bottom 2 on league form. It's truly shocking.
In terms of points, I think we're closer to relegation than automatic promotion.
Stockport County, not a single shot on target.
Same with Stevenage earlier in the season. Here's the thing: how important of a signing has Charlie Austin been this season for the team?
Okay,
he's been a big signing. That was orchestrated by Clem and the meetings that they had over in Australia. There was talks of him not being signed because he didn't fit the model of what the direction the recruitment was going with the club. Imagine if we chinned off that signing, where would we be right now?
Well, so here, all right, it's probably only right and proper that we spend another couple more minutes talking about moments this season, because I think, for many of us this season, the things that we are going to be clinging on to as things that have made our expenditure worth making.
That's our cue.
It is, yes. Our expenditure worth make will be moments. And for me, seeing grown men cry in the town end when Charlie Austin scored on his return tells you everything you need to know about the Charlie Austin signing and the importance of that to the paying customer. I think it's been very interesting hearing Joe Tomlinson talk this week about the fact that there is a fee in his loan deal that needs to be met. So we all knew that he'd signed with a view to a permanent move, and that there's an option to purchase him, and that fee is involved. I think Tomo has proved, whilst it's been a frustrating time for him with injury, I think Tomo has proven that
he's a long-standing player that should stay here for a long time.
Yeah, I think absolutely critical. Can you think of many other moments that we've had this season, apart from obviously the privileged access that running this show has given us? Can you think of many more moments this season that has kind of, that's meant that we've got
off at that fan in the town end? That was a good one.
Yeah.
On the pitch, the 5-2 at Mansfield, wondering how on earth we even did that, because that was, a week after we got pumped by someone in the bottom half of the table. 5-2 against Mansfield, and then we fell apart in the first round of the FA Cup, got pumped 4-0 by Stockport.
I mean, really,
magic moments like that, but they're too far.
We're talking Marcel Lavigne's goal, aren't we? We're talking Ronan Darcy's goal. We're talking Charlie Austin. It's probably been the pinnacle of the season this year. Charlie Austin's return. He's 4 goals against Rochdale. Pretty special.
It's just a shame it hasn't come with the highs that we wanted it to.
Yeah, it's been one of those this season, isn't it? But back to matters at hand. This, for me, has absolutely...
It's filling up very quickly.
It is, isn't it, as we glance along the stadium. But actually, the women's team playing their games here at the county ground as we return nicely in a lovely circular narrative. Yeah. This, for me, really has been, on both a personal and just a supporter level, one of the highlights of the season for me. And again, we're going to touch on some of that stuff that we touched on with Rob Angus earlier. You know, the fact that we all turned up with the football equivalent of a hangover, and within 5 minutes of walking into the ground, it feels like we're back home again. There's football out on the county ground. There's a team out on the county ground pitch wearing our badge with massive amounts of pride. And every single one of those players out there today, this means the world to them. Being able to play in front of 500 Swindon Town supporters out on that pitch. If you're a supporter of our football club, that really means something to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's a big moment for the players themselves and the players' families and the football club as a whole. It's a big moment, and you know it's quite a privilege for the players to be able to say they played on the county ground pitch.
Well, we've had a very, very, very professional looking warm up from Swindon Town women today. And their Southampton counterparts have been putting themselves through their paces as well. What to expect today? So here's what my homework tells me. As various contacts in the women's game have said to say that Southampton play a very direct style of football. Fitness levels apparently are very, very similar to Swindon Town women. And that they, as a team, are known to adapt their style to Swindon Town. Yeah. And one of the reasons that we believe that is and it's interesting looking out on the pitch and seeing Southampton's women's management talking to Swindon Town's women's management. They're close friends. So surprise, surprise. They know each other away from the pitch. They all get on. I'm sure they talk. I'm sure they all tease each other. We're expecting a very, very tight game of football today. So again, just a refresh on the league table. Southampton women currently in 5th. They are 3 points ahead of Swindon Town women with a +8 goal difference. And Swindon Town women currently in 6th. Again, as I say, 3 points separating the two sides. Promotions out the window for both teams today, really. But so there's a little bit of pride in terms of when it finishes far up the leagues as they both possibly can. In that respect, our women were telling me before the game that for them, today feels like a 6-pointer. And they're going to be absolutely gunning at it. What's been really interesting today, watching the two sets of players out on the pitch, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, when the Southampton ladies turned up, there's a certain, for want of a better word, tourist mode being deployed. There's lots of people presenting cameras, taking pictures of them up in the stands, posing on the pitch and so on and such like. Watching our ladies, they've been here, they've done it, haven't they? This is their 3rd game now out on that county ground pitch. And there's a certain, it's almost like they've got over that, Ellis, I think, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So do you think, I'm expecting our girls to sort of come flying out of the traps from the first whistle. What are you expecting?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an action-filled game. I think we're going to see plenty of goals from both sides. And like you said, Hannah's, I think both teams have got a point to prove.
So interesting, looking at the defensive lineup, going through their paces over towards us here on the touchline. That looks like Sky Hull in the right back position, Jen Gray right centre back position, Alice Bowden the captain left centre back position, and Rianne Bourne-Hallett in the left back position. That is a big story. Rianne, for those of you listeners that are tuned in from the very, very start of our show, Rianne had come over looking fighting fit. Certainly no offence intended when I said to Rianne, she's lost a lot of weight from when we last saw Rianne here, when she was in the co-commentary box. And one of the reasons for that, of course, is when she was last with us for the Plymouth Argyle game here, Rianne had only literally recently given birth.
Yeah.
So Rianne has gone from being I say a new mum, but Rianne's gone from being from literally childbirth to finding herself out on the pitch in literally a matter of a few months, which is truly incredible. So it looks like Rianne's going to be deployed in left back today, which is interesting. Not a lot else being given away out on the pitch today, but Town expected to line up in a 4-3-3. Interestingly, versus Moneyfields, 25 goal, Annie Colston, by the way, 25 goals in 23 appearances. Annie Colston was deployed in on the wing with Charlie Rowlands, deployed down the centre. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, because Charlie Rowlands recently signed from Forest Green, where it's fair. I wouldn't call her goal happy, but she knows where the back of the net is, and she does score a fair share. Charlie Rowland's been played down the middle with Annie Colston in a wider role. It's going to be interesting today to see whether or not Annie Colston's deployed in a central striking position. But glancing over now at the warm-up, and I can see that Charlie Rowlands is out there taking shots, just hit the crossbar as we speak. I can see Helena Diaz-Butcher, who would be expected to play her role as part of a front three today. Watch out for Emerson Evans, 16, just turned 17 years old, playing in the development squad most of this season, having been got free scoring, signed from Melksham. And Emerson's been doing great things. She got a third senior goal already for a young lady that's just turned 17 years of age. So I think there's a chance today that if we play a 4-3-3, it's going to be really interesting to see whether Charlie Rowlands is involved in the starting lineup, whether it's going to be Helena Diaz-Butcher, possibly Emerson Evans, playing in front of her home fans. The midfield, I think we're going to be expecting to see Meg Attenborough, who's out there warming up. Meg likes to get a goal, box-to-box midfielder, fit as a fiddle, personal trainer in her professional life. To quote her, she's got a great engine on her. You can expect her to be up and down. And we're expecting Mia Mugford, who's just about to get a shot off as well. Excuse that one wide. We're expecting Mia Mugford, recently returned to the UK, to be deployed in midfield alongside Meg Attenborough. The rest of the team, we haven't quite got the lineups sent through to us yet. We're going to keep our eye out.
I've seen some pieces of paper flying about.
Oh, we're going to try and snaffle ourselves a starting lineup as Andrew Hawes makes his way.
He's also listening
into the as Andrew Hawes makes his way into the stadium. So, I mean, listen, we're not going to, we're not going to be sorry. The reason I'm pausing is that Emily McGrogan's just come away from the warm-up with a rather pained expression on her face, and Emily McGrogan's understudy has slipped into nets for shooting practice. So we're going to keep an eye on the goalkeeping situation, Ellis, because Emily did look a little bit uncomfortable as she made her way off the pitch. But anyway, so we're gonna try and see if we can find ourselves a team sheet. Ellis, let's you and I keep talking. I'll try and keep my breath as we make our way up to our commentary position now, because I'm pretty sure that we're going to find ourselves a team sheet as we make our way up there. And we're also going to try and see if we can snaffle Andrew Hawes to get his input on the game from yesterday. I think we've got more chance of getting Andrew when we make our way up the stands. And he's also got a team sheet. So the teams are out. As soon as we've got our hands on a team sheet, we will let you know what that is. I'm sure Ellis will probably find one on the socials as well. So both teams looking fairly lively. Both teams looking pretty chipper. We are approximately 18 minutes away from kickoff, and still no hint of a team lineup. So, as we say, 2 p.m. kickoff today. Both teams are pretty much even keel in relation to their league position. Southampton 3 points ahead of Swindon Town women, with a 8-goal positive goal difference. So we've got the team lineups, and I can confirm, as things stand, Emily McGrogan is still in goal. Jen Gray and Alice Bowden do indeed form your two centre-backs. Rianne Bourne-Hallett is indeed going to be playing at left-back with Sky Hole at right-back. Meg Attenborough is in midfield alongside Tori Taylor. And Lucy Durham is also in the side. And the front three is Emerson Evans, Helena Diaz-Butcher and number 9, Annie Colston. So that means Charlie Rowlands is not in the starting lineup, despite various tweaks. Your Southampton lineup, in goal you've got Rebecca Barron. Then we have Shannon Albury, Summer Kilbury, Emma Jane May, Jasmine Nassar, Eleanor Parker, Hope Sumanen, Kirsty Whitten, Laura Voles, Libby Gilmore and Shannon Stevewright. Substitutes for Southampton are Sarah Luce, Britt Geel, Rachel Ockford, Emma Whitlock and Chloe Tucker. On the bench for Swindon Town, Charlie Rowlands, Nat Goodright, Ella Harries, Catherine Back and Mia Mugford. So, plenty of experience on the bench in the form of Charlie Rowlands, Nat Goodright, Ella Harries and Kat Back. Been involved with Swindon Town for quite a while. And Mia Mugford, recently returned from US college football, finds herself a spot on the bench. So we're going to break away just while we get ourselves settled into the commentary positions. But we've got pitchside commentary today coming from Adam. Adam, how are we looking? Looks pretty good down there. There's going to be loads of people to speak to, loads of fans gagging to talk to you by the looks of things.
Where am I going? Do I get to go out?
Yeah, you're going to be all the way along this bit here, buddy. All the way along this bit here. Yep. Mixing with the great public of Swindon Town.
I was going to get to annoy the linesman and run up and down.
Yeah, you won't get to do that. Well, you might get to run on and trip him up, give him a boot. And joining me and Ellis in the box, we're just going to be waiting for Ethan, development manager of Swindon Town, who will be joining us shortly. And we've also got Steph Bent joining us. Now, Steph Bent's an interesting story. It's been a real cruel season for Steph. Vastly experienced Steph Bent, fullback for Swindon Town ladies, former Oxford. Ooh. But anyway, Steph, huge favourite of Swindon Town women. Steph recently suffered a ruptured Achilles and is currently booted. And a real tough one for Steph, because that's a harsh injury for a footballer to recover from. Yeah. Never mind a footballer that isn't surrounded by all the glitz and the glamour, as we talked about earlier, in terms of rehab and recuperation opportunities. These girls are not full-time professionals. No. So Steph's going to be putting in an awful lot of work in her own time. It's going to be tough for her, isn't it, Ellis? Yeah. Speaking of somebody that literally pays to get his face staved in a boxing ring. Yeah. That's a hard graft. That can be a lonely place, I'm guessing.
Yeah, especially when it's a hobby. It's your release almost. And when that gets taken away from you, when mentally you can, if it wasn't for your injury, you could still play. It's a horrible feeling. And especially moments like this at the county ground, she's only going to be out there even more.
That's the thing. It's going to be a real bittersweet day for her today, Ellis, isn't it? Because you're involved in the hustle and bustle of this wonderful day today. All of your friends out there having the time of their life. Steph is, fair to say, one of our better players and one of our senior players. She would have expected to be out there. Last time we were here, Emily McGrogan was injured. Steph Bent went in goal. Yeah. That's what a kind of club woman this girl is. So to not be out there for her big opportunity, I mean, that is it's doubly hard for her, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. But I'm confident she'll pull through. You touched on it. It's a horrible injury, and she hasn't got the accessibility to top physios that maybe the men's club do. It's such a tricky position to be in, but. For her, it's focus on the rehab and putting back stronger.
Right, dear listeners. Well, look, go grab yourselves a cup of tea while we get ourselves settled into our commentary position. The mics will flip back on about 5-2 as the ladies come back out on the pitch. For the meantime, don't be put off by a period of silence. If we can play you some delightful elevator music, you can be sure we will. Right, welcome back then, dear listeners. Here we are. So we are made our way up into the commentary box. Sorry, It took a little longer than expected because our usual commentary box is full of a plague of absolutely dastardly insects. And I really do mean a plague of them. I think someone's left the lights on overnight. So we tried to tough it out, Ellis, didn't we? But all kinds of things try to fly up our noses and various holes on our faces. Yeah. But anyway, here we are in the salubrious surrounds of it might be a little bit louder today because this is a fully open media box, but nonetheless, here we are. So listen, we thought we'd give you a little bit of a stat attack. So in relation to the Southampton ladies who are going to be playing today, not that it matters to you because you're listening, but the blue, navy and blue of Southampton Women's Football Club. Not to be confused with Southampton FC women, who are, of course, affiliated to the Premier League team, but nothing to do with that lot that we're going to be playing against on the pitch today. So just to clear up any differences between the two teams, Southampton FC women, who are affiliated to Matt Letizier's lot of Southampton, are tier 2. So they're basically in the second tier of women's football, the WSL2. Southampton Women's FC, who we've got out on the pitch today, Swindon Town's opponents are in step 4. Hence, they're playing against our very own Swindon Town women. And both teams are fairly evenly matched. But appearances today. So the ones to watch out for. Shannon Stevewright has 25 appearances. She's going to be wearing a 33 shirt today. And she is she's a player that likes to get forward, calls all kinds of nonsense we've been told to look out for. Chloe Tucker also has 25 appearances, but Chloe can only make the bench today. And then you've got where are we? Moving into the top scorers. So Aubrey. Where is she? Aubrey. So Shannon Aubrey is going to be wearing the number 18 shirt. Is the top scorer. Interestingly, on our team sheet, they've got her down as playing in a right back position, but she is. We can confirm from our statistics provided by Southampton Women that she is a striker. So 8 goals. Shannon Aubrey, 8 goals. Yeah. We do goals properly in Swindon. Annie Colston will give you 25 goals in 23 league and cup appearances. So don't come at me, Shannon Aubrey, with your 8 goals. Nonetheless, Shannon Aubrey is the one to watch out for. We were talking about Shannon Stevewright, however, already. So 25 appearances. But Shannon is going to be wearing the 33, as I mentioned. Shannon's the one to watch out for in terms of assists. And we've also got to look out for Hope Sumanen. Hope Sumanen has 6 assists. So Hope is also the one that we're watching out for. So we're just settling in, watching just as the players are starting to line up in the players' tunnel. We can see a few of them are appearing. Appears that the officials are lining up in the players' tunnel, and I think we are about to catch sight of both team lineups as they present themselves out on the pitch. No tunnel today, Ellis. No tunnel out there. There's no fear of people being pelted with things as they're leaving the stands or anything along those lines. So the canvas tunnel has been pushed right back into its customary home. As the Swindon Town substitutes, I can see Sir Tom Broadbent Lounge sponsored athletes, Charlie Rowlands and Mia Mugford, taking their place on the back row of the dugout, resplendent in orange high-vis, Ellis. Resplendent in orange high-vis. Who else can we see making their way out of the tunnel? I've just seen Kat Back making her way out as the Southampton substitutes are also starting to appear. Referees have got both sets of players now lined up on the red carpet as Ella Harries takes her place on the bench, and the Swindon Town players led by Alice Bowden are led out onto the grass of the county ground pitch. Lovely to see a community side walking out alongside them, Alice. It's been there's been a real push to ensure that Swindon Town women's team are very much part of the community in which they're serving. And we've got approximately, I think there was 150 to 200 tickets, Ellis, have been given to community clubs, and it's created a real buzz around the stadium today,
I can't put a number on it, but it certainly seems busy in the ground today, which is, of course, a positive.
Well, I've got to tell you, Ellis, if they're saying, for me, as I look down the stand and try and get a flavour as to how many people are here, I certainly think that there are as many players, as many fans in the stands as we saw previously against Poulton. So I'll tell you what, I think there's been a healthy walk-up today.
Yeah.
So as we look at right, logistical challenges, Ellis. Poor old Steph been down there with her crutches. So Steph is supposed to be joining us in the commentary box, and I think the challenge for Steph is going to be getting herself up to the commentary box. And we can see Adam down there. Give us a wave. How are we, Adam? Can you hear us loud and clear?
Yeah, I can hear you all well and good. Down here, getting ready for the pitch side. Well, I say pitch side. I'm slightly anxious that I'm in a lot of people's way at the minute as they're trying to watch the game. I'll try and find somewhere comfy where I can still watch the game and give you some analysis, as we've got a bit of noise going on down here. Yeah, as you were saying from up there, it is rather busy down here. I would say you're looking at upwards of maybe 500 people here at the minute. Legends Lounge is still quite busy, but just chilling here as the girls are coming over, finishing up their final preparations, and then we're going to kick off.
Adam, what I think we're going to get you doing is just shuffle to your left and go and say hello to Steph and keep Steph company, because I think your pitch side duties today are going to be done pretty much hand in hand with the booted Steph, who hopefully isn't going to try and bust her ass and bring herself up the back of the stand, given the restrictions that she's got on her mobility today. So that's the one. Head to your left, and there she is. There we go. As Adam takes his position. Ethan,
how are we?
I'm very well. Ethan, come join us in the box.
I will.
So Ethan, development team manager for Swindon Town Women. You're very, very welcome in the commentary box. Unfortunately, we've had to come to this open one because some clown has clearly left the lights on, Ethan, all night in the other commentary boxes full of midges. And as soon as Ellis and I walked in there, we were literally attacked by them. I'm still trying to scrape them from my face as we speak. But Ethan, give us a flavour. Give us your professional take on this day. We've waffled for nearly 2 hours, filling in time and trying to give our lovely listeners a flavour as to what they're going to expect today. And what sort of a challenge is Southampton going to put up today against Swindon Women?
They're a very good, very well coached team. We've got a good relationship with Southampton. Actually, we share a lot of kind of game footage with them. So it's going to be a very tactical, competitive game from the build-up. So it's an interesting one.
I mean, as always, over the course of a football season, you get it separates the wheat from the chaff, shall we say. And here, what we've quite clearly got are two very, very evenly matched football teams. League positions would show you that. There's only three points separating the two teams and 8 goals. We're told that Southampton are a team that are known to adjust their style and their approach to the game around Swindon Town. Is that something that you're going to be expecting today?
Yeah, so in the build-up, part of the conversation that was had on Tuesday night was, what are they going to be expecting us to do? So James's tactic going into this game is doing something that they're not going to expect. So I'd expect something a little bit different in the first half from kind of behind the scenes and being involved in conversations and things like that.
And we've got, so Swindon Town line-up today then. We've got, just as we work our way from left to right, we've got Emily McGrogan, we're pleased to say. She looked in a little bit discomfort after the warm-up, but she's taken her place in between the sticks. Emily's been in great form this season, has come back from injury really well, having been injured on this pitch, ironically, against Plymouth Argyle. We've got Rianne Bourne-Hallett. How good is it to see Rianne back in the left-back position as Swindon kick off and start making progress down the right-hand side? Sorry, Ethan, how good is it to see Rianne back in the team?
Yeah, no, it's good. I had Rianne for a couple of weeks with the development, limited minutes, obviously due to coming back from injury, but the difference that she had from a psychological
Southampton loop a high ball into the box and Emily gathers. Sorry, Ethan.
No, that's all right. Yeah, so just from a psychological point of view, like she's a leader. on and off the pitch. So it's massive for the women's team to have her back on the pitch.
So as Emily McGrogan goes long, picked up by Annie Colston just inside the Swindon Town D. Annie plays it out wide to Sky Hole in the right back position. Ball breaks to Tori Taylor, who plays a great through ball to Helena Diaz. Butcher down the right hand side. Can't quite make it, and Southampton are able to clear from their goalkeeper, Rebecca Barron. So Southampton back in position, but Meg Attenborough hustling for possession on the edge of the 80-yard box. Meg's able to put a ball across the box, doesn't quite break to Annie Colston, and the ball is back in the possession of Southampton, who play it long, but they've played it straight to a Swindon Town shirt. Colston jostling for position in the centre of midfield with Southampton's 88, Rebecca Barron.
Quite scrappy at the minute. Both sides trying to gain possession of the ball.
Big diagonal from Southampton, trying to search out their right back, but the ball runs out of play and goes for a throw-in. And it's that girl, Rianne Bourne-Hallett, who's taking it halfway up the Swindon Town half. Rianne plays it down the line. Southampton back in possession and breaking forward with Southampton's number 10, Emma Jane May, plays it inside to their 33, Shannon Stevewright, who really is their danger player in relation to assists. So Southampton patiently building around the edge of their D, play forward to the edge of the 80-yard box. Southampton got a chance around the penalty spot, and it's cleared up high into the sky and gathered at the first attempt by the giant figure of Emily McGrogan. She's an imposing figure back there, isn't she, Ethan, Emily?
Yes, she is. Yeah.
Very, very popular amongst her teammates. She's been in great form this season.
Yeah, she's been fantastic. Her game management is unbelievable.
Our first sight of the pace of Helena Diaz-Butcher down the right-hand side, as she managed to beat the full-back, but the covering centre-back has cleared it in the touch for a Swindon Town throw. How important a player is Emily McGrogan to this lineup, would you say, Ethan? As all great teams all seem to have a great goalkeeper back there. Emily was really missed, wasn't she, earlier in the season when she was injured?
Yeah, I mean, Emily, for her age and her ability, is just ridiculous. Her stature in goal, her ability one-on-one, the ability to save shots that she really shouldn't be saving is a blessing for any back four and any team, really. Yeah,
and it is, like, given her stature, it's easy to forget that she's still, in football terms, is still a pup.
Yeah.
Southampton have an opportunity down the left-hand side, but that's dealt with, or not dealt with, rather, by Sky Hole, who's been beaten in the right-back position. Southampton have got an opportunity wide on their wide left. It's crossed into the box, and Sky is able to cut that out and clear it up the line. It's picked up by number 32 for 32 for Southampton, Libby Gilmore. Gives it away. Meg Attenborough gets her foot on the ball, plays it back to Jen Gray. Jen Gray in turn plays it back to Emily McGrogan, who clears long down the left-hand side. Still in Swindon Town possession as the ball lands in centre midfield. It's played out to the right-back position. Another loose touch from Sky Hole has got Southampton through on goal, but a heavy touch, and the ball was rolled through to Emily McGrogan again. Bit of a patchy, scrappy start, Ethan, would you say?
Yeah, I think both teams just kind of figuring each other out, getting touches on the ball. I think neither team are used to playing on a pitch this wide. Hence why I think a lot of the players being very narrow.
So we talked, Ellis, didn't we, before the game about sort of tourist mode? There's no hint of tourist mode from Southampton so far. They seem to have adjusted the better of the two teams so far.
Yeah, they've lined up quite nicely. They look quite solid. But
lovely turn from Annie Colston.
Great through ball.
And she threads through Emerson Evans on the left-hand side. Town's number 21. Teasing and turning, cuts inside, plays a cross-field pass to the edge of the D, which is cleared. Alice Bowden manages to get it into the central midfield positions as Southampton take control of the ball and now start to progress down. They're causing problems for Sky Hole down the left-hand side, aren't they? Again, looking to make possession count in the left wing position, but heavy touch, and the ball's made it again through to Emily McGrogan, who bowls the ball out to her D before going long, left-footed down the left-hand side Lovely touch from Emerson Evans. Emerson Evans has been a fascinating. I mean, there's someone you'll be able to tell us about, Ethan. Yeah. She's made like rapid progress through the senior ranks this season, hasn't she?
Yeah, so she was playing at Tier 7 last season. Playing that James had his eye on when he was development manager. I was fortunate enough that she joined just before Christmas. 4 goals in 3 games. There was an injury within the first team. She stepped up and she's scored a couple of goals and kind of said, well, you're not going to be able to put me back down to development football anymore.
Pace to burn. And her emergence has come at a really interesting time as Southampton break down the right-hand side. And Rianne Bourne-Hallett's got her first proper test in the left-back position. And Town are able to clear, but only to the edge of the 18-yard box as Southampton's Rebecca Barron shapes to shoot. But she's crowded out by Meg Attenborough. Southampton remain in possession, but again,
offside.
Town skipper. Wow. So this is going to be a problem for me today because Rianne and Alice, when they're front on, you can't see their numbers, literally look like twins, Ethan. This is going to be a real problem for me today. Twins both in terms of their physical appearance, but also in terms of their leadership stature, because obviously Ree has worn the captain's armband for a very long period of time, and Alice has been more than an able deputy while Rianne's been away extending the population of this great planet that we live on. Southampton back in possession in the centre-back position. Work the ball out wide to the right-hand side with number 14, Summer Kilby, as again, the ball breaks to the edge of the 18-yard box and Southampton player has swung a boot at that and it's looped high and just drops down in front of the Town end as opposed to clearing it. So it's going to be a goal kick to Swindon Town.
Swindon need to look at controlling possession, start controlling the game a little bit more.
Centre midfield, combination of it's Tori and Meg really need to get a foot on the ball. Ellis, don't they, at the moment? They haven't got a lot of control down the centre. So a lovely touch from Annie Colston, who accelerates away from the centre midfield position, plays it wide right to Helena Diaz-Butcher, squares it into the edge of the 18-yard box. Penalty spot rather, and Southampton are able to clear away for a corner. That was a lovely touch from Annie Colston, who really has shown this season, Ethan, that she is levels above Tier 4. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, and Annie's a fantastic player. You can play the ball to her feet, and 9 times out of 10, she's going to deal with it and turn the play up. And that's part of the tactic that James has adopted for this game, is having 4 players at the halfway line from goal kicks and then looking to bounce it back to midfield players to then build the attack that way.
That was Swindon's sort of first real opportunity of the game, and they'll be looking to capitalise off this corner now.
We broke beautifully there, didn't we? And broke really, really quickly. As the corner's being taken just in front of the Don Rogers stand, low and just drilled over the bar. A foot or two over from Meg Attenborough, who also likes to get forward. Ethan's got a fair share of goals and assists this season.
Yeah, from the build-up to the game, this was one where the Southampton players from the analysis are going to stay tight on Annie when we're in the ball. Annie's able to then drop deep, and we're looking at getting the centre mid players in behind where the gap's been created from Annie. So I wouldn't be surprised if Meg gets a goal instead.
So, bit of influx of players, Ethan, into the first team, hasn't there?
Yes.
With Charlie Rowlands joining. Obviously, Anna Barnes isn't with us today. She's out in Spain. And Mia Mugford's on the bench as well. I'm sure that's going to have certainly posed a few headaches for James before today's game in terms of selection. So he's got an embarrassment of riches in forward areas for sure. And certainly both defensive and midfield ranks have been swollen as well. So corner's been forced for Southampton. Looked like a goal kick to me.
Yeah.
Southampton have got a corner just in front of the Don Rogers. As 2 hands have gone up, Southampton winger has swung it over the 18-yard box. It's dropped for their number 6, who drills it low and hard, and that's a fantastic block by Rianne Bourne-Hallett, who clears the ball out just in front of us here in the John Trollope stand. Annie Colston takes control. Rianne Bourne-Hallett battles for possession and plays a delightful ball down the left-hand side, but just a little bit too much purchase on that, even for the pace of Emerson Evans. And the ball's gone out for a Southampton throw that will be taken by their number 19, Jasmine Nazar, who plays it inside to Witten. the Southampton captain. Whitten plays it on to Libby Gilmore, who works it down their left-hand position. The high lofted ball from the left back, just a bit too much on that, and the ball runs through to Emily McGrogan. The game's got a lovely ebb and flow to it, Ethan, isn't it? It's some lovely attacking play from both Town and Southampton as Meg Attenborough gives the ball away on the edge of the Town D. Southampton looking almost in classic Swindon Town men's style there to work the ball back to the centre-backs and build again. Again, the ball played down the right-hand side to Summer Kilby in the right wing-back position.
Southampton are certainly looking a lot more direct. They're looking at driving the ball forward. And I think Swindon's...
And Emily McGrogan has been caught out by, and it's Southampton 1, Swindon Town 0. Just to give you a... That's a commentator's nightmare, that goal. So the ball was picked up approximately 40 yards from goal on a diagonal position, and a high lofted punt into the box was clearly a cross.
It was unfortunate from Emily there.
It's caught the breeze, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's caught the breeze. And as Emily on the edge of her 6-yard box was backpedaling, the ball was carried in the wind and has literally dipped under the crossbar at the very, very last minute. And Southampton have taken a 1-0 lead here at the county ground. As Town goes straight on the offensive from the kickoff with Helena Diaz-Butcher down the right-hand side. Southampton are able to get the ball off of lanes and work the triangle and force the ball back into the Swindon Town half. But the ball's broken forward, and again Town lose possession, and Southampton now have the ball again in their sort of central midfield position in their own half as they work the ball from left to right over into the right back position. Southampton look to work that forward. Swindon take possession. There's a long ball forward to the halfway line where Emerson Evans is battling for possession. Emerson Evans loses out, and Southampton have control of the ball again. Sorry, Ellis.
Swindon are looking a lot better on the counter attack. They're quite quick on the break in the transition, so they'll be looking to capitalise on that.
Ethan, how disappointed will Emily be with that goal? It looked wind assisted to me, but nonetheless, it's not a good one for a goalkeeper to concede at any level, is it?
No, I mean, Emily's of the mentality of that she wants to keep a clean sheet every game. So I didn't actually see the goal, but I'm sure in the build-up there would have been things that could have been done to prevent the shot.
Well, it seemed to me that Town were a little bit slow to react to the ball breaking out to the crossing position, and then a high ball into the box, looked like a hopeful cross, and then it's caught the wind, and then it's just literally dipped under the crossbar at the last minute. So still, I think we'll put that one down as goalkeeping error. Even as a fully paid up member of the Goalkeepers Union, I know that Emily will be kicking herself. Southampton back in position on the halfway line. Hopeful pump forward, and Meg Attenborough is able to clear her lines, and the ball is worked back into the Southampton half. Southampton break forward from the right back position, trying to work it wide, and the ball has rolled out of play for a Swindon Town throw, which will be taken by Rianne Bourne-Hallett. Just in front of us here, the John Trollope Arkle stand. Bourne-Hallett inside to Tori Taylor, plays the ball down the line for the rapid Emerson Evans, who just can't quite get there, and the ball is worked back to the Southampton goalkeeper. And again, play working. Eleanor Parker, the Southampton goalkeepers, work the ball forward. It's ended up in the left back position, and they work back across their defensive lines. Centre back, number 6, Kirsty Whitten, their captain, plays the ball across to her centre-back partner, who lost a high ball forward to the edge of the Swindon Town box. And that's headed clear, and Annie Colston picks it up in a dangerous position and threads it to the right-hand side to the rapid Helena Diaz-Butcher, who's in a threatening position on the right-hand side. The first-time cross is blocked by a defender, but the ball is picked up again by Annie Colston, who plays it wide to the left-hand side to Emerson Evans. Plays it back to Rianne Bourne-Hallett, who plays it inside. Annie Colston on the edge of the 18-yard box. Nice footwork from Colston. Can't quite work it through to Tori Taylor, and now Southampton have got a break on. Southampton play it forward. That's a lovely piece of control by Shannon Albury. She eventually loses possession.
A lot better from Swindon there. Looked a lot more controlled on the ball.
Emily McGrogan has played it long, and there will be a free kick to Swindon Town following a foul on Sky Hull in the channel between right centre-back and right-back. And Sky Hull is going to be taking the free kick. About 10 yards inside the Swindon Town half. Sky Hull signals, plays a high diagonal ball to the edge of the 18-yard box, which Southampton head clear. Rianne Bourne-Hallett, who's looked very neat and tidy today on a return to the Swindon Town lineup, has played it inside, but the ball has broken forward. It's been played long to Southampton, who shoots from distance, and Emily McGrogan is able to watch that wide for a Swindon Town goal kick. Southampton break quick when they go, Ethan. They go fast, don't they?
Yeah, they seem to be set up well out of possession, so that when they do transition into the attacking phase, that it's very well operated. Great bit of skill.
Yeah, she doesn't look like she's missed a lot of football, does she, Rianne Bourne-Hallett? But I mean, Ethan, listen, we were talking before, and Rianne was in the commentary box with us when we played Plymouth Argyle. Really can't be understated, can it? Just how impressive it is for a female footballer at turn her action after, and every pregnancy is different, isn't it? And there is not a female's body that is the same as the next female's body in terms of coming back from such a moment in a female's life. So to return, this being her first game back, it doesn't look like she's missed any football at all. She's been the pick of the bunch so far.
Playing in her unnatural position as well. Obviously, she's normally kind of defensive midfield or plays in the centre mid position, but she's doing a fantastic job at left back.
So Southampton have forced a corner whilst we were nattering away, right in front of the Don Rogers stand. There's a gaggle of players gather on the penalty spot. It's a high, lofted corner, and Emily McGrogan gets a big fist on that.
Out for a corner.
And has gone for another corner. So again, it's quite clearly a well-constructed routine that Southampton have got here, and the Swindon ladies are certainly prepared for it. There's a line of blue shirts just adjacent to the penalty spot. Meanwhile, on the touchlines, on the goal line, there's a lot of movement. Players getting in front of Emily McGrogan as another high ball is lofted in. Emily McGrogan's underneath it. It's another big fist to it. But the ball drops to the edge of the 6-yard box. Pinballs around, but it's cleared by Swindon Town. A huge clearance up to the halfway line now. And Swindon are breaking with Annie Colston, who gets a lovely touch. And Annie Colston is now effectively, she's got one defender to beat. And Annie Colston goes first time, which is she probably had a little bit more time on her hands, Ethan, didn't she?
If I'm honest, I think she was looking for the ball through to Helena. She got her head up and did have a look across. I don't think that she was trying to shoot. I think she just kind of misplaced the pass. But you'll have to ask her after the game.
Again, the threat of 25 league and cup goal, Annie Colston, seen for all to see in that attacking position, just nipping the ball off the Southampton women's right back's knee, bursting through with one defender to beat. So slightly, we'll give it a benefit of the doubt, miscued pass, which has rolled through to the Southampton goalkeeper. But you can't give her an inch, I should say, can you? The Southampton play the ball through one-on-one. Emily McGrogan, a square ball to the edge of the 80-yard box, a low shot,
save.
and McGrogan has tipped that wide and right. And some fantastic defensive work from Alice. So we're going to try and see if we can get ourselves down shortly pitch side, where we've got Adam and Steph Bent waiting to talk to us. We're just going to wait for a lull in play because Southampton have picked the ball up in a threatening position on the edge of the edge of the halfway line. A little ding forward for Southampton. A lovely interception, however, from captain Alice Bowden. And the ball is broken through to Emily McGrogan, who clears long. Adam, if you can hear us, how are you and Steph seeing the first half unfolding so far?
Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, can hear you loud and clear. I'm sat here with Steph now. What are you making of the game so far?
So far, I'm actually gutted because it's quite par. If you're watching the game, you can see how much we're pushing. You know, we are getting, Southampton are getting in behind as well, but we're doing the same. We're pressurising them. We're dealing with when they're trying to get in behind. It's just it's always, especially the start of the season when I was playing as well, we never actually, when we see players and a team play really well through us, fair enough, that's a goal. But it's always just either a lapse in concentration or something like that. They didn't really deserve that goal, in my opinion. I really do think we're playing well. We're compact, 2 banks of 4. We're solid in defence. We're following our runners, but it's just a random shot from an unlikely place that's caught us off guard.
And how disappointed will Emily be with that goal, Steph?
She's going to be gutted. And as a keeper, I know she's really cool, calm, collected. Every time we're in the changing rooms, I'm hyping everyone up and I'm like, Em, how you feeling? And her answer is always, yeah, I'm all right. She's like the most composed person on the pitch. But when it gets down to it, she likes a clean sheet and she's not going to be happy with having a go like that, especially being lobbed as a keeper. That's like the worst. It doesn't feel good. You know, I've gone in goal for every club I've played for at least once. And it's so frustrating because in goal, you literally have to kind of switch off and start again. Whereas when I'm on a pitch and I make a mistake, I get up, I run, and I try and win it back. When you concede as a goalkeeper, there's physically nothing you can do to take that back or to like work your arse off right after. So it's actually really hard, and she deals with it really well to just switch off and make a couple of great saves after. It doesn't get in her head. So although she is gutted, I know she's, you know, we have that belief in our forwards that we can get a goal back. We've been 1-0 down a few times and come back and even won games. So although she is gutted and, you know, these little things happen. But yeah, so far the game is tight. I think we're doing really well. And it's only a matter of time. Annie's like really doing well. As always, she is a bit of a lifesaver. But it almost on both ends of the pitch, we know Emily's such a good goalkeeper that we have that trust, that faith. And on the other side of things, when things don't go our way, we also have Annie and Helena and Emerson that's coming on, literally has scored so many in every game she's played so far. So I know we can get it back. We just need to keep pushing.
Well, we'll come back to you later, Adam. Steph, thank you very much for your input. As Sam pick up the ball just on the halfway line with that goal again. Annie Colston, lovely bit of footwork. Attempted through ball from Meg Attenborough, which is intercepted, but Colston's picks it up again, tries the threaded through ball to Helena Diaz-Butcher, and it's just cut out by Southampton women as the left back is able to turn inside Helena Diaz-Butcher, play inside to the central midfielder who works it back to Southampton's centre backs, who bring the ball forward, feed the midfield just inside their own D, played wide right-hand side to Summer Kilby for Southampton.
Tackle.
And again, another cracking tackle for Rianne Bourne-Hallett in the left-back position. As the referee's given a free kick, I think he's played an advantage, but he's pulled play back, or is he given the free kick? He's given a throw-in.
Colston's definitely been the standout for Swindon, I'd say, so far.
She's certainly, as another high ball was lofted into the 18-yard box, and Jen Gray gets a big head on that, sends it clear, but the ball's broken on the edge of the 6-yard box, and McGrogan is out quickly to gather the ball up and follow it through to the edge of her 18-yard box. She drops it to the ground, bowls it out, plays it low to Tori Taylor in central midfield, who plays it back to McGrogan, who with her left foot pokes it out to Jen Gray in the right centre-back position. Gray lofts it forward to the right-hand side. A little bit of accuracy is off and the ball rolls out for a Southampton throw-in. Southampton put that straight back into play. They're in a threatening position on the edge of the 18-yard box but can't turn. As Helena Diaz-Butcher comes infield, plays it wide to the to Town's number 22, Lucy Durham, who can't maintain possession, and the ball was back with Southampton women, who progress over the halfway line. Picked up by number 14, that girl Summer Kilby again, plays a neat ball down the right-hand side.
Great tackle.
A big tackle from captain Alice Bowden.
She looked up for it today,
She certainly does. Has flattened Southampton winger and sent the ball out for what I believe is a corner to Southampton.
One thing I can say is Southampton are playing a very high line. At times they've only got, one centre back there. They're definitely pushing on and looking for high balls over the back of Swindon's defence.
I will tell you now, Town are going to score today.
Yeah,
without a shadow of a doubt. As you say, Annie Colston's looked very, very lively. Southampton loft the high ball towards the near post, and Emily McGrogan gets a big fist on it and sends it back whence it came.
She should take up boxing, Hannah.
Yeah, but off of a Southampton head, and the ball has gone for a Swindon Town goal kick. As Alice Bowden offers herself a short option but McGrogan has gone wide to the right-hand side to Sky Hold, cuts inside and drives forward down the right-hand side in front of the Don Rogers. Plays a neat ball to Helena Diaz-Butcher, but just a little bit too much on that. And the ball goes out for a Southampton throw-in halfway into the Southampton half. They're not exactly storming away with this, are they, Ethan? It's pretty much, it's evenly balanced as we kind of expected it to be. They've obviously had the rub of the green with the way the goal's gone in, but how have you seen things so far?
Yeah, I think it is a close game. I think Southampton have probably had a little bit more of the ball, and what they've done with it has been probably a little bit more productive. I think Swindon needs to be a little bit quicker to react to things and play the right passes. If you're playing it into Helena out wide, don't really want it going into a wide player's feet, in my opinion. You want her to use her pace in behind. But I think Town are feeling their way, and I think something's coming.
So Southampton in possession midway into Swindon Town's half, but a loose pass has given possession back to Swindon Town. Picked up in the right back position by Sky Hold, threads it forward to that girl, Annie Colston, with some more neat footwork. Can't quite find a teammate, and the ball ricochets around, but is now back in possession of Swindon Town with Tori Taylor carrying it over the halfway line, plays it into the left back position to Rianne Bourne-Hallett, who knocks it back inside to Tori Taylor, plays it down the line to Emerson Evans. A nice layoff to Rianne Bourne-Hallett, who can't quite pick the right forward pass, and the ball's back in the possession of Southampton. They thread it down the line, and the ball is nicked out of off of a Southampton toe for a Swindon Town throw-in, which will be taken by Bourne-Hallett just prior to the halfway line. Bourne-Hallett down the line to Lucy Durham.
There was some tidy football being played there, some neat passes from Swindon, and they're searching for that goal, and I think it will come.
So Bourne-Hallett taking a throw just in front of James Daly. What will be going through James's mind, do you think, at the moment, Ethan, in terms of how the game's unfolding so far?
I think he'll obviously be frustrated to have conceded a goal, especially so early on in the game, but I think the response and the way that Alice, Annie, players such as Lucy and Meg have kind of reacted and been physical, forward direct passes, I don't think he'll be too annoyed or disheartened, but obviously nobody wants to be chasing the game that early on.
There's nobody out there that's like, shying away from trying to get on the ball, is there? Like a Swindon break over into the Southampton half. Nice little layoff from Emerson Evans, but just a little too short with that layoff, and the ball's back in possession of Southampton. Yeah, they're all still getting on the ball. They're all still looking to express themselves, aren't they, Ethan? There's no sort of like overly anxious touches. You can still say that you still see that they're playing to a system.
Yeah.
Southampton have it in the centre-back position. Play it to the right centre-back down the line to Southampton's right winger, Summer Kilby. Again, lunging challenge from Rianne Bourne-Hallett in that occasion. And the ball goes out for a Southampton throw midway into the Swindon Town defensive half. Back in play from Southampton as the ball's worked to number 6, Kirsty Whitten, the captain. Whitten plays inside number 10, Emma Jane May, who switches it to the left-hand side.
Not offside.
Southampton have got space down the left-hand side to get a cross in, which they duly do. And offside is given by the referee about midway into the half. McGrogan nonchalantly flicks her boot up to clip it scorpion kick style away from her goal line before picking the ball up, taking it wide into the right back position where McGrogan will take the free kick herself. Left-footed Emily McGrogan. Where's she going to play this? She plays it with a bit of diagonal twist down the line to Annie Colston. Colston lays it off to Helena Diaz-Butcher in the right wing-back position. Crowded out by players, plays it inside to Annie Colston, who shows lovely footwork to keep possession. Diaz-Butcher crosses right towards the penalty spot, doesn't quite get enough purchase on that, and Southampton are able to clear their lines down the left-hand side. Nice control by Southampton left winger as they progress over the halfway line, and a high ball forward has found their number 11 in space, and she's gone one-on-one with Emily McGrogan, gets the toe to it. McGrogan makes a great save low to her right-hand side, but the ball's breaking to the striker again.
Another great
McGrogan
save.
has pulled an absolute peach. of a diving save with her left hand, full stretch, plucking that up from underneath the crossbar and palming it wide to the left-hand side as Town break away again. Meg Attenborough just inside the D shows some lovely footwork to play it inside to Lucy Durham. Lucy Durham back to Rianne Bourne-Hallett in the left-back position. Plays it down the line to Emerson Evans, who can't control, and Southampton will break again. A little dink pass down the line, which is mopped up by the captain, Alice Bowden, who plays it back to Emily McGrogan, who puts a big foot through that, sends it down the left-hand side. Bowden is able to play it inside to Tori Taylor, just about gets away with a short pass. And the ball is worked forward by Town, picked up by Meg Attenborough, who tries to thread Helena Diaz-Butcher through on the channel between the centre-back and the left-back, but Southampton cut that out and the ball's worked back to the Southampton goalkeeper, Eleanor Parker. Ball breaks forward, Southampton in possession. Southampton centre-backs dribbling it forward. Emerson Evans puts the challenge in, and the ball's fed through to central midfield position. And Southampton are able to regain possession and bring it back into the centre-back position, wide down the right-hand side to their number 14, Summer Kilby again, who cuts inside, but Town win possession. Some neat footwork again from Annie Colston as Meg Attenborough inside the Swindon D. Lovely footwork by Attenborough, who breaks from deep and threads a lovely ball to Helena Diaz-Butcher, who's in acres of space on the right-hand side. Squares for Annie Colston! And Annie Colston, from 4 yards out, has spooned the ball over the bar. That is meat and potato stuff for Annie Colston, Ethan, isn't it?
The amount of times that they've scored the exact same goal in games, training, it's a repeat of the system that works. Good ball out wide, cut back.
Wonderful play from Meg Attenborough in midfield, Ethan, wasn't it? Superb footwork and a great driving run before she fed Helena Diaz-Butcher, whose cross was a peach. And Annie's going to be kicking herself that she's not buried her 26th goal in all competitions this season.
Yeah, a good opportunity there to equalise. Like you said, Colston's going to be kicking herself.
Colston in possession again, feeds Meg Attenborough in the central midfield position, who plays it wide to Emerson Evans on the left-hand side. The tall, gangly figure of Emerson Evans extends the leg, and the ball is worked out wide to Rianne Bourne-Hallett, who plays it diagonally wide to the right-hand side. A little flick from Meg Attenborough doesn't quite come off, but the ball breaks to Tori Taylor, who shoots from distance. And he takes
Swindon is searching. They're searching for that goal. Takes
a deflection off the Southampton defender and goes out for a Swindon Town corner. But Town have looked really threatening, haven't they, Ethan, over the last sort of like 10-15 minutes. It seems to be coming together for Town. They're certainly finishing the half the stronger of the two teams.
Yeah, they've slowly got into it and they're creating opportunities on goal now. It's just a case of getting the goal, hopefully before half time, so then they can go in, reset, and receive instructions from James and KP to come out and do the corrections needed in the second half.
So Bourne-Hallett with the corner to the edge of the 6-yard box. The ball drops. Southampton are able to put a boot through that and clear it. And it's gone back to Sky Hole on the halfway line. He feeds a high ball up into the central midfield positions. Lovely little touch inside. Annie Colston's got possession on the edge of the D. Feeds through Meg Attenborough, who shoots low and hard to the left, but there's a block from Southampton. And Southampton are able to clear. The Town are certainly turning the screw, Ellis, aren't they, in the latter stages of this second half?
Yeah, they're certainly piling on the pressure. I sense a goal coming. It won't be long.
As the substitutes are gesturing to the lone singer in the crowd to pull their finger out and get a little bit more atmosphere going here at the county ground. Annie Colston battling for possession on the edge of the Southampton 18-yard box, but Southampton are able to clear and they're breaking over the halfway line. But a loose touch has put Annie Colston back. Oh no, that's put Emerson Evans back in possession, approximately 30 yards from goal. But again, Southampton have been able to wrestle the ball off of Evans and they played it forward. Now they're menacing down the right-hand side. Southampton have got a chance to get a cross in, which they do. Jen Gray is able to clear, and that will be a Southampton throw-in. So Town finishing the stronger of the two teams, but Southampton showing just how quick they are on the break.
Yeah, Swindon have got to be careful that they don't get too carried away and get caught out on the counter. But yeah, some positive, good football being played by Swindon now.
Southampton being given far too much time to bend that cross in on the edge of the 18-yard box. A high-headed flick on, which Emily McGrogan is able to claim. on the edge of her 6-yard box. Emily bowls it out to the edge of her 18-yard box, and with her left foot sends the ball high down the centre of the pitch. It's headed forward by a Southampton player. Meg Attenborough's got possession. She plays it short to Jen Gray, plays it wide to the right, and Helena Diaz-Butcher, as Annie Colston attempts to thread Diaz-Butcher in. Can't quite make it, but they've been offside. No offside, as Meg Attenborough threaded Helena Diaz-Butcher in down the right-hand side, but just a little bit too much on that pass. You do sort of sense that there's a Swindon Town goal coming. Swindon are certainly carving openings, and we are certainly we are finding gaps between their centre-backs as Southampton continue to try and work the ball around their defensive area and progressing down the right-hand side, which has been their main outlet in this first half, certainly where the goal came from. Rianne Bourne-Hallett gets the challenge in, enabling Lucy Durham to get into possession. Town's number 22. She can't quite keep the ball under control, and the ball is back with Southampton's defenders. They play it long. It's returned with interest by Alice Bowden. And a free kick has been given for a high boot against Swindon Town. It appears to be a high boot. I believe it's Alice Bowden. And there's a free kick.
I think it was Lucy had stood on the player's foot. Was that what the free kick was given for? Yeah.
So Southampton have got a free kick just inside, halfway inside the Swindon Town half, which will be taken by the number 6 and captain Kirsty Whitten. Plays it wide to number 19. And high ball into the box, which Emily McGrogan springs off the line and takes in line with a penalty spot. And a long, high clearance from McGrogan. It's clearly causing problems for the Southampton defenders, who've now got the sun in their eyes. Tori Taylor playing it forward. Colston can't quite keep hold of it, and it breaks to the Southampton right back. And number 14, Summer Kilby, the Town have broken again. And Annie Colston has played a lovely little ball inside to Meg Attenborough, just hasn't quite got the pace to get there. And it's cleared wide and in front of us here in the John Trollope Arkle stand for a throw-in.
Colston's definitely
the edge of the 18-yard box.
Colston's definitely showing good feet in this game. Very tricky player.
Yeah, it's they don't really seem to have an answer for Annie Colston, do they? She seems to have her marker on toast as the ball's thrown in directly to Annie by Rianne Bourne-Hallett. Annie's returned it to Rianne Bourne-Hallett, and the ball was tapped out for a Swindon Town throw-in. We'll see if we can make our way back to Adam and Steph on the touchline. We'll just take this little break as Meg Attenborough has a go from distance, and it's smothered by the Southampton goalkeeper. So, Steph, Adam, how are you finding things down on the touchline? What's the vibe?
Yeah, no, it's really good. Swindon looking promising, especially on the counter. They're able to soak up these chances that Southampton are throwing quite well. It's going to be Annie and Lanes that I think are going to decide this game at the front for Swindon. You know, the pace of those two is just blitzing the full-back and the centre-backs of Southampton. And it's only going to be a matter of time with the right delivery before they start slotting in a few goals.
And Steph, how happy do you think Lally will be with this performance so far?
I actually think he'll be quite happy with it. Like I said, you can't really say they deserve that goal. It was very much, a lucky shot, a lapse of concentration. And to see how they play in now, they're pushing, they're not getting their heads down. And you know what? Even when Annie gets the ball, when Emerson gets the ball, you can just see they've got 3 blues around them straight away. So I think the one thing we could definitely... Go ahead.
Sorry, Steph.
No, you're fine.
Of the commentator, as the ball has just broken to the edge of the 18-yard box, and the Southampton trying to work out who struck for Southampton. I believe it is number 33, Shannon Stevewright, who's their assist queen so far this season. And Stevewright has bent one into the top corner.
It was a great goal, to be fair.
Steph, that goal was very much against the run of play, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's really, you know what it is? This is where it will show the most. We will keep going. And, when it's 2-0 down, especially when you've been working so hard and you almost scored, Annie's shot and then Meg again, and we're really pushing. When you get another goal down, it can quite easily get our heads down. But I think, with the people we have on the team, and we can see that Southampton have a few weaknesses at the back there. So I think they just need to keep pushing. I think just one goal from us will really spike our energy, and it looks like that's coming anyway. Like I said, they're not playing through us easily. So these 2 goals, the scoreline is just not showing what is actually happening on the pitch.
Yeah, thanks, Steph. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, there was a collective sigh, Ethan, wasn't there, around the stands as that ball hit the back of the net. Southampton haven't got many supporters here, a few family members. So it was an audible, it was quite clear that Town were really starting to turn the screw. That's a really cruel blow. And not long before half-time, Ethan, as well. But Steph's point there about a quick goal from Town spiking energy. Town's still very much in this, aren't they?
Yeah, very, very much still in the game. I mean, you're never out of a game, especially not so early on. Just need to be better in their final decision, in my opinion. But they're working hard, they're getting stuck in, and they're clearly following instructions from James and KP. And I'm sure they'll be given some instructions in regards to how they can get back into the game at half time.
So Southampton progressing down the right-hand side, right back to right wing. It's Kilby playing the ball forward, but a lunging challenge from Alice Bowden has allowed Emerson Evans to have an opportunity down the left-hand side, but she can't make the most of that. And the ball is worked back to the Southampton goalkeeper. He plays it short to Southampton right centre-back, progresses the ball into midfield position. They work it wide into the right back position, plays a high ball forward that gets in behind Alice Bowden, who's able to clear the ball for a Southampton. That will be a Southampton corner. So again, Southampton packing the box with their height. They're not a huge side, Ethan, are they? Southampton. They're not a physically imposing side. Certainly, Swindon physically of the 2 teams appear to be the bigger team. Certainly, physically the more impressive team. A corner for them, nonetheless, that will be taken just in front of the Town end and the John Trollope Arkle stand, as the corner is high to the edge of the 6-yard box, headed towards goal, and that's 3-0. It looked to me that Emily McGrogan was being impeded on her line. She couldn't get anything on that whatsoever. And the ball seemed to just bobble off of a Southampton head, Ethan, and then just loop into the bottom corner. Defensively, that's another goal they're not going to be happy to concede.
You just said about the physical stature of Southampton compared to Swindon. You'd like to think that Swindon would be able to deal with that kind of cross it.
Yeah, it's a very...
But
yeah, again, curse of the commentator. I should have kept my mouth shut because they actually did seem to get out muscled on the edge of their own 6-yard box. It was nothing more than a sort of high looping ball that they've clearly decided that they're going to box Emily McGrogan in on her goal line and not allow her to come and use her impressive height and physical stature to either punch clear or make a catch. And that was a classic example of it. She was almost gesturing to her defenders. There's nothing that I can do here. Yeah. As the ball, before the ball even landed on the attacking head, as Town progressed down the right-hand side, and Sky Hull was able to work it back to Helena Diaz-Butcher in the right wing-back position. Sky Hull takes over just in front of the S of the Don Rogers stand, to give you an idea, in line with the edge of the 18-yard box, as the ball's work right to Megan Attenborough, and Attenborough plays it again back to Sky Hull in the right-back position. Sky Hull down the line to Helena Diaz-Butcher, who knocks it back to Meg Attenborough, who fights her way past the left back and plays a delightful cross to the edge of the 6-yard box, but just has a bit too much on it. And Emerson Evans is able to pick the ball up in the channel between 18-yard box and byline. Rianne Bourne-Hallett cuts it back inside to Lucy Durham, who shoots just over the Southampton crossbar. I mean, Ethan, let's call it as it is, 3-0 scoreline at Southampton. James won't be impressed with the scoreline, but the scoreline is pretty unfair on Swindon Town, fair to say.
Yeah, I mean,
on the balance of play.
Southampton have had 3 or 4 opportunities on goal. Swindon have created, I'd say, more than that. But just lack the finish. I don't think any manager is going to go into half-time 3-0 down and be happy, but Town have played some good football, and I'm being called by KP, so I'm off.
Cheers, Ethan. Thank you ever so much for your company this first half. For me, it's going to be interesting to see what James Lally makes of that first half performance, because for long periods of that first half, Ellis, that was all Swindon Town, wasn't it?
100%. The scoreline 100% does not reflect what is going on that pitch. Like you said, Swindon, for plenty of the game, had a lot of possession of the ball, were asking questions of the keeper and their defence, and had a big opportunity in Annie Colston where she almost scored. So, she puts that in, it's a totally different game.
A lot of very, very frustrated faces down there. A lot of furious faces as the Swindon Town players are working their way down the tunnel back into the Swindon Town dugout. But some interesting performances. A couple of cracking saves from Emily McGrogan, but 2 goals have been conceded that I think Emily won't be particularly happy with. The first goal just caught a little out of position. Very, very fortunate. It looked like a wind-assisted opening goal from them. The second goal was a very, very tidy finish indeed, high and into a top left-hand corner. The third goal, high looping corner to the edge of the 6-yard box, and with Emily McGrogan boxed in by Southampton attacking players, the ball found its way onto the head of a Southampton striker, and the ball has bobbled high and into the top right-hand corner, just in front of the town end. And we are joined by Bryony Hurd. How are we, Bryony?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm all right. We were just literally saying, scoreline's really harsh on town.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, I've missed all 3 goals.
Oh, no.
Somehow.
That's not a good start.
No. But, yeah, I think Southampton have been better, but not better in the fact that to be 3-0 up.
Yeah, the scoreline, we've just been saying we believe that the scoreline flatters Southampton. 2 of the 3 goals pretty fortunate. Mm-hmm. High corner, we were saying that it's clearly a tactic to box Emily in to prevent her sort of applying a considerable stature in and around her own 6-yard box. And a really fortunate header for the third. First goal was a total wind-assisted fluke. I'm sure she'll be disappointed with the way that it's looped over the top of her, but just dropping in under the crossbar like that, really unfortunate. Cracking goal for the second. But how things with you been, Bryony? How are things with you?
Yeah, I've been good, thanks. I've been good. Still playing, but trying to get back to fitness, which is proving hard.
Well, talk about getting back to fitness. Lovely seeing Steph out there today. She's going to be really frustrated to not be out on the pitch with her teammates, isn't she?
Definitely. Yeah, I think she wasn't sure if she was going to be able to come back to football with the injury, but thankfully I think she's got that positive mindset that she's definitely going to get through it, so it's nice to see her here.
If you were James Lally in that dressing room at half-time, Bryony, what are you going to be saying to the girls? Things that you can repeat.
I don't know. I think do the things that they're doing, but more positively, especially in that final third. I think that the majority of those balls are just not making it past that first defender. So I think what they're doing is the right thing, just not as perfect as we'd like it to be.
There was a chance for Annie Colston about 10 minutes before half-time. That's classic Helena Diaz-Butcher, Annie Colston link-up play, was there? How frustrated will Annie be that she's not buried that for what would have been her 26th in all competitions in a hugely prolific season for her?
She'd be very disappointed in that. I think it did jump up to her a little bit, and she will be annoyed at herself, but she's just got to do it again in the next half. So.
And how ironic, jumping up to her on a pitch like this in the condition this pitch is in as well. It's beautiful out there.
I know.
How lovely is it though for you, Bryony? Obviously long-term association to Swindon Town women. How lovely is it for you to see the ladies enjoying this canvas on which to paint their art?
Well, yeah, it's always nice to come back to the ground. I think they said about 350 people coming in. I think I heard.
I think there's been a really healthy walk up today, looking around the stadium, and lots of
kids.
Yeah, lots of kids. As we literally marvel at 3 of them, I thought they were coming to attack us. But I think there's been a healthy walk up at the county ground today.
Yeah, definitely. It's good. It's a good showcase of the women's and preparing us for next season when hopefully we'll be in Swindon a lot more.
So, do you see a way back for your erstwhile teammates in this fixture, Bryony? If you do, where's it going to come from?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
We're not going to hold you.
No.
We're not going to hold you to a prediction. Ellis, you've been talking. I mean, Annie has looked really impressive.
Yeah,
she's apart from her one spurn chance, she's probably been the most impressive of the attacking trio.
Yeah, in terms of having the ball at her feet, she looks really tricky. A defender's nightmare, really. And I think a goal will come from either Helena or Annie.
I think I really like the look of Evans, Bryony. She's got pace to burn, hasn't she, down the left-hand side?
She's incredible.
You can see that she's naturally. You can see that she's not the kind of player to beat a full-back and bend across in. I think if I was Lally, I'd be very, very tempted to consider switching to a front two and having her and Annie absolutely going like a battering ram. And I noticed that Helena Diaz-Butcher was pulling her top off in frustration as she went down the touchline. So whether that means that she's already been given a tactical instruction or whether that was just a change of apparel before the second half, we'll wait to see. But I'm going to rest my vocal cords for 5 minutes while we try and find ourselves a cup of tea, dear listener. We will be back with you for full second half coverage in 5 minutes' time. Right, well, welcome back to the county ground. It's just gone at 3 o'clock and we're getting ready for the teams to come back out in the second half. Been some interesting developments. It's looking like potentially Charlie Rowlands is going to be coming on for Swindon Town, and we're just trying to work out exactly where she'll be coming on. We've been speculating that potentially, given the scale of the scoreline, Southampton 3, Swindon Town 0, Southampton 3. A scoreline that is fair to say, Ellis, flatters Southampton massively. We've been talking during the break, having seen Charlie emerge and stripped and ready to go, that if it was us, we'd probably consider going to a back three.
Yeah.
Which would mean Alice Bowden, Rianne Bourne-Hallett and Jen Gray making up a back three. But it looks to me that Sky Hull is still out on the pitch. So who can we definitely see out there? So we can still see Jen Gray, Sky Hull, Helena Diaz-Butcher, Alice Bowden, Annie Colston. It looks like it's possibly Rianne Bourne-Hallett who hasn't emerged for the second half.
Which, to be fair, would make sense. She's coming back from quite a substantial amount of time.
Rianne is still there, by the looks of things, there's been no changes.
No changes. That's interesting. So has Charlie Rowlands made her way out onto? She hasn't, has she, Adam? So no. So it looks like. So whilst Charlie Rowlands looked like she's stripped and ready to go, she's now no longer on the touchline. It looks like she's possibly taken a place back in the dugout. So whether there's been a change of minds, we're not sure. Sorry, Adam. What can you make out from the touchline?
Yeah. So just coming from Steph's eagle eyes, the team has come out very the same as when they went in at half time. As you were saying just then about the scoreline flattering Southampton, it really has. Swindon, I think personally, have controlled the game and they look much more promising going forwards. They're doing all the hard work and it's just these quick little lucky breaks of the ball that's causing the goals have come from, really. It was a lucky looping header, lucky dip over the top of the keeper, and one, to be fair, good shot, but that came out of nothing. So fingers crossed they can do something for the second half. I'll hand you over to Steph.
And that's Adam and Steph. Adam Cotnell for the Tom Broadbent Lounge with guest pitch-side summariser Steph Bent, who's currently out of action for Swindon Town women with an Achilles injury. So Swindon Town unchanged. With Sky Hull at right back, Jen Gray and Alice Bowden in centre back positions, the vastly experienced Rianne Bourne-Hallett at left back, Lucy Durham and Tori Taylor, centre midfield. Helena Diaz-Butcher wide on the right of a front three, with Emerson Evans wide on the left, and Annie Colston in a customary number 9 position as Southampton kick us off and progress down the pitch in the direction of the Strand Bank. And interesting, Ellis, again, fully paid up member of the Goalkeepers Union that I am.
Yeah.
Emily McGrogan is immediately shielding her eyes from what is a very, very low early spring. I don't want to call it a sunset yet, but the sun's going to be at an awkward height for a goalkeeper. And I've played on this pitch 2 or 3 times this time of year. And when the sun hovers as it in the position it is, not far above the town end, it's an absolute rascal to play into for a goalkeeper.
Sorry to come
thing
in, Hannah. Steph's just made me aware that the goalkeeper for Southampton is subbed out.
Yeah, so interestingly, it looked like there certainly wasn't an injury, but the goalkeepers were warming up vigorously pre-match and indeed at half-time. So I can't help but think that's just a little bit of sharing of the goalkeeping duties. So again, if you're Annie Colston, if you're Emerson Evans, if you're Helena Diaz-Butcher, you're going to want to test that goalkeeper as quick as you possibly can as the ball breaks down the left-hand side. With Southampton defending, the ball's played back to their substitute goalkeeper. And Emerson Evans very nearly got an effort. I think the goalkeeper just misjudged the pace of Emerson Evans' burst into the box. Emerson very, very close to nipping the ball off the Southampton goalkeeper's toe. Southampton work the ball from right to left. They're just in possession in front of the dugouts directly below us as Southampton play the ball. The left back, a misplaced pass, Meg Attenborough, who was particularly impressive in the first half, plays it down the flank to Helena Diaz-Butcher, who can't keep it in possession. He's lost to Southampton, who have the ball on the edge of their D, a high diagonal pass into Swindon Town's left back position. Southampton progress to the edge of the 18-yard box and the ball breaks. Lovely first touch by the Southampton striker, and Jen Gray is able to toe the ball out for a Southampton corner in the corner of Don Rogers and Stratton Bank. Bright start then from Southampton, Ellis.
Yeah. Swindon really need to look at controlling possession, getting the ball under control, and pushing on, using the pace of their strikers.
So a whipped corner, ball bounces to the edge of the 6-yard box, and they're able to clear. Alice Bowden clearing the ball out into the classic left-back position for Swindon Town in their defensive half. The Southampton are in possession as the balls work back to the halfway line. Southampton break forward, and a nice little flick touch from their striker has played the ball out to a right winger, plays a high lofted cross onto the edge of the 6-yard box. Emily McGrogan is able to come out and collect before bowling the ball early to Helena Diaz-Butcher down the right-hand side. And notice that Helena has got a heavy strapping on her right hamstring. It looks like her right hamstring.
Yeah.
Ellis got a lot of the what's the tape called, Ellis? The black sort of the stuff. Medical tape down her right hamstring.
Seems to be running okay though. So
as the ball is worked back to the Southampton goalkeeper, plays it short into their number 32, Libby Gilmore, in the left centre-back position, and a loose touch from number 5, Laura Voles, for Southampton gives Swindon Town a throw-in, which will be taken by Sky Hole in the right-back position. Plays it inside to Tori Taylor. A loose touch from Tori Taylor, but a looser touch from Southampton's centre midfielder sends it back down the line and out for a Swindon Town throw-in that will be taken by number 22, Sky Hull. 12, Sky Hull. Hull plays the ball down the line. Southampton are able to return it with interest into the right-back position. It's played infield. Number 10, Emma Jane May for Southampton, works it back into the central midfield position. It's then carefully worked back into the left-back position. They switch it from left to right, and they're now attacking directly in front of us on the Don Rogers stand, as we're joined again by Ethan, development manager for Swindon Town Women, as the ball's lofted high into the box, and Emily McGrogan gets a big fist on that. The ball drops to the penalty spot, and Swindon Town are able to clear with Emerson Evans, who plays a delightful ball up to Annie Colston, who plays an equally delightful ball to Helena Diaz-Butcher down the right-hand side. He's gone looking to take on the Southampton right-back. Plays it inside to Meg Attenborough, whose first-time cross comes shot and hits the back of the Southampton defender. Hull Meg Attenborough back to Sky Hull, who's played it down the line, and the ball doesn't quite roll out of play, and Southampton maintain possession in front of the town end. Neat little triangle, which isn't quite completed, and Meg Attenborough is able to force a throw off of the Southampton defenders. What was the mood at half-time, Ethan?
I don't know, I was in the bar.
What was the mood in the bar then?
It was good. I think obviously from a kind of a spectator point of view, I think fans are obviously looking at that going, it's not a 3-0 first half performance. Southampton kept the ball well, but they didn't really create enough opportunities, in my opinion and many people's opinion, that they should be 3-0 up. But that's football at the end of the day. A big
through ball from Southampton down the left-hand side, and Swindon are able to force the ball out of play. It's rolled for a Southampton throw-in. Just in line with the Swindon Town 18-yard box. Southampton put the ball back down the line to number 32, Libby Gilmore, who feeds it inside to number 6, Kirsty Whitten, the Southampton captain. Plays it across field to number 19, Jasmine Nazar. And Southampton continue to try and progress the ball down the right-hand side, but Town have forced it out for a Southampton throw. Ball is back in play with Rebecca Barton, and play is switched into the Southampton centre-back position, and they break forward with number 32, Libby Gilmore. Libby Gilmore plays an interesting ball down the left-hand side in the left wing position for Southampton. First-time cross is cleared out of the 18-yard box by Swindon Town centre-back Jen Gray, and Southampton have a throw-in in line with the Swindon Town penalty spot. Long throw-in inside the Swindon Town 18-yard box is miscontrolled by Tori Taylor, but cleared by Jen Gray, and Annie Colston has the ball halfway out of the Swindon Town defensive half. Gives the ball away to Southampton, who play a very interesting ball down the right-hand side in the right wing position for Southampton, who cross it first time, and Emily McGrogan is able to make a very comfortable catch on the edge of a 6-yard box. Bowled out early to Helena Diaz-Butcher in the right wing-back position, halfway forward in the Swindon Town half. Inside to Meg Attenborough, who plays a lovely chip pass down the right wing, and Helena Diaz-Butcher has certainly got the legs on the left-back. Helena Diaz-Butcher shielding the ball from the left-back, plays it back towards Sky Hull in the right-back position. Sky Hull turns back and plays it to centre-back Jen Gray. Jen Gray takes a touch, plays it wide right to Helena Diaz-Butcher. Little drag back, plays it inside to Jen Gray. Nice little triangle with Sky Hull in the right-back position. Sky Hull advancing forward, beats the player, beats the second player, plays it inside to Lucy Durham, who's challenged robustly by the Southampton central defensive midfielder, and is sent cartwheeling, and the ball goes out for a Swindon Town throw-in that is taken quickly to Meg Attenborough, who progresses powerfully down the right-hand side. Attenborough plays a really interesting cross, and the ball doesn't quite drop on the left-hand side of the attacking 18-yard box for Swindon Town. Emerson Evans couldn't quite get a touch on that. Southampton work the ball down the left-hand side now, coming over the halfway line. That's a lovely through ball. One-on-one for Southampton. The attacker takes it past Emily McGrogan, an open goal, and she skews it an inch or two wide of the right-hand post. And credit to Emily McGrogan there, Ethan. She did very, very well to send the attacker very, very wide on the left-hand side. He had a lot to do for the finish. She couldn't quite get that on target. But that could have been Southampton, a fourth for Southampton.
I actually think Emily came a bit too far up.
Well, Swindon Town progressed down the left-hand side. There's Emerson Evans, but pass can't quite reach Annie Colston, and Southampton back in possession. A little chip ball over the top. And again, it's one-on-one for Southampton. There's a lovely covering tackle from Jen Gray, who's able to get the block in, and that will go for a for a Southampton corner. They look really dangerous. I mean, it's been the story of the day, hasn't it, Stephen, really? Southampton look really dangerous on the break. Is it because Swindon are committing too many bodies too far forward, or is it just that Southampton have got the pace on the break?
I think what they're doing in the build-up is, when they're in possession, is they are moving the back four and the midfield around, and I think that's what's causing us problems. I'm not sure if anyone's noticed, but they seem to be playing a 3-1-2-4 when they have the ball. So they are overloading the midfield, which is obviously just going to create constant waves of attacking phases against our defensive unit.
Southampton again in possession down the right-hand side. Captain Ellis Bowden manages to get a strong block tackle on the Southampton right winger, and the ball has gone out for a throw-in in line with Swindon Town's defensive 6-yard box. Yeah, obviously Town have got to commit bodies forward, Ethan, haven't they? They're 3-0 down, they're at home. They're going to want to give the home fans something to cheer about, but that is going to mean, great for the neutral. It's certainly going to mean entertainment. Certainly we haven't seen the last of the scoring today, have we?
I'd be surprised if this stays 3-0.
Lucy Durham picks up the ball. Swindon Town central midfield plays a lovely diagonal ball out wide right to Helena Diaz-Butcher on the right-hand side, who tries to thread a ball in to Annie Colston. Can't quite do that. Ball ricochets off of a Southampton defender and out for a Swindon Town throw, which will be taken by number 12, Sky Hull, who's pushed up from right back, providing extra bodies in the edge of the 18-yard box. A throw inside to the 18-yard box. Lovely touch by Annie Colston, and a weak finish by Lucy Durham just inside the 18-yard box for Southampton. Rolls through to the substitute goalkeeper, we believe is Sarah Luce for Southampton, in resplendent in illuminous pink. The Southampton breakthrough one-on-one with Emily McGrogan down the other end, and there's a finish through the legs of Emily McGrogan, and it is Swindon Town 0, Southampton 4, and even a Ronaldo celebration from the Southampton goal scorer. As soon as we can make out who that is, we will let you know. But again, just literally what we've been talking about, Ethan, isn't it? Swindon Town on the attack, lovely attacking position, looking like we can carve an opening. Southampton, long ball down the other end, pace in behind the centre-backs, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and a tidy finish through Emily McGrogan's
I think
legs.
James is going for it now. He's changing it to 3-5-2, I believe.
So Tori Taylor taking a seat in the dugout, and Nat Goodright is coming on, Town's number 4. So, yeah, indeed, looking like 3-5-2. Sky Hull, Jen Gray and Alice Bowden lining up across the back. Nat Goodright looks like she's occupying central defensive midfield position a little further forward. So there's going to mean gaps for Southampton down the wings, but lots of power for Town down the centre. As Goodright gets her first touch, knocks it into Sky Hull, and now the right centre-back position, miscontrolled by Meg Attenborough in midfield, but she's able to wrestle possession back. It's incredibly powerful central midfield presence. Meg Attenborough has had a really, really good game today. Sky Hull picks the ball up in right back position, plays it up the line to Helena Diaz-Butcher, who cuts the ball inside to Annie Colston with the help of a toe of the Southampton defender, and the ball has gone out for a Swindon Town throw midway in the Swindon Town half, as Sky Hull works it up the line again to that powerful presence of Meg Attenborough, plays a lovely ball up the line to Annie Colston, who uses her strength, and the Southampton defender is literally laying on top of the ball, and rightly so. The referee has given Swindon a free kick on the angle of the 18-yard box. Southampton defender's getting a little bit of a tipping off. The broad grin on her face appears to suggest that the Southampton captain, number 6, Kirsty Whitten, knew exactly what she was doing. Decisions being made as to who's going to be taking this free kick at the moment. It looks like Rianne Bourne-Hallett standing over it on the right-hand side as Sky Hull retreats back into a central defensive position. Alice Bowden is making a late run into the 18-yard box. There's a high ball lofted towards Southampton goalkeeper, unchallenged, gathers at a near post and is able to bowl it out to the Southampton right back, as Southampton again, as has been characteristic of this game, progressed down the right-hand side. Very, very slick movement and passing, but this time Town are able to intercept. Sky Hull in the centre-back position. Lovely footwork from Hull has allowed Meg Attenborough to break. She plays a delightful through ball to Helena Diaz-Butcher down the right-hand side, who crosses. Colston, who can't quite get the ball out from under her feet. The ball seemed to go a little bit behind Annie, who's just slightly mistimed her run, and the ball's clipped her left heel, and she couldn't quite connect her right foot to it. Another really nice opening, Ellis.
Yeah, you would hope for a goal there. Again, Annie Colston's going to be kicking herself after that one. 2 big opportunities from her.
So a triple substitution for Southampton women. Coming on is Chloe Tucker, number 4 Emma Whitlock, and number 9 Britt Geel. Trying to work out who's come off for Southampton. Easier said than done when you don't know who their players are. Sorry, dear listeners, we are doing our best for you. We should certainly be able to tell you who 2 of them are as soon as they take their seats in the dugout. Not, of course, that you care that much, because your interest, of course, is the green and white of Swindon Town women today, who unfortunately are finding themselves on the reverse of a 4-0 scoreline, which it is, I am maintaining, really, really unfair on the Swindon Town women's team performance thus far, which has had plenty of spark, plenty of attacking intent. They've just been caught with a couple of sucker punches and 2 very, very jammy goals indeed. Southampton give a throwaway on the angle of 18-yard box just in front of the Don Rogers and the Town end, which is going to be taken by Rianne Bourne-Hallett, I believe, who throws it infield to Annie Colston. Nice control, and the ball breaks to Nat Goodright on the edge of the 18-yard box, who shoots first time, but the ball just doesn't quite have enough curl on it, and the ball drifts out for a Southampton goal kick, which is taken quickly by their goalkeeper and played to number 32, Libby Gilmore, who plays it back to the Southampton goalkeeper, dressed head to toe in luminous pink, as the ball is worked out to the right of what looks like now Southampton looking to match up Swindon Town. It's looking like they're also playing their 3 across the back. The right centre-back plays the ball up the line, and a shove in the back.
Swindon definitely appear to be sort of playing a higher press, trying to win that ball further up on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, again, they've now it's all about entertaining, right? As Swindon Town break through to the edge of the 18-yard box, and Meg Attenborough showed a lovely little turn of pace and power. Would have been one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and a nice sliding tackle from Southampton defender has put the ball out for a Swindon Town corner, which will be taken in the corner of Don Rogers and Townend by Town's number 7, Rianne Bourne-Hallett. I mean, great to see Rianne getting so many minutes in her legs, isn't it? I mean, it's surprised that she came back out for the second half, Ethan, but she's having a cracking game so far.
Yeah, she's doing well. She's true professional. She'll play for the full 90 and then some if she needs to.
Bourne-Hallett cracking corner right into the danger zone as the ball breaks for Lucy Durham. A big block tackle from Southampton defenders. Bourne-Hallett plays it back into the box. Annie Colston gets a big head on that, but it's drifted out over the top of the Southampton goal for a goal kick, which Southampton immediately play short. They're certainly not sitting back, Ethan, are they, Southampton? I think they sniff that they want to entertain as much as the Swindon Town team do today out on this wonderful pitch, and why wouldn't they, given the opportunity to play in the county ground in front of so many supporters. So Southampton in possession, just approaching the edge of their 18-yard box, progressing up the pitch, and Annie Colston. Sorry, that wasn't Annie, was it? That was Emerson Evans, wasn't it? Just fouled to Southampton defender and has given away a Southampton free kick as Town are readying their next substitute, and Mia Mugford. The Sir Tom Broadbent Lounge sponsored Mia Mugford, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Just returned to the UK from a period at college football in the US is ready for action. So Mia enters the county ground pitch. First time on the hallowed turf for Mia Mugford, but not her first time in a Swindon Town kit. Her second spell for the club. Southampton progressed down the right-hand side. A nice little flick on by the Southampton defender, but Jane Gray gets her head where the boots were flashing and is able to lay it off into midfield. Mugford can't quite complete a pass, and Southampton take possession on the edge of the Swindon Town 18-yard box. They're twisting, they're turning, they're looking for a cross. And Helena Diaz-Butcher, back on defensive duties, turns the ball out for a Southampton corner in the corner of Stratton Bank and Arkle's John Trollope stand. So a corner to be taken by Southampton's number 4, I believe, Emma Whitlock, one of the substitutes. And again, the same corner routine with Emily McGrogan being crowded on her goal line, this time being protected by Jen Gray and Alice Bowden. Plenty of runners looking to distract McGrogan. High ball into the 6-yard box. It's gone to the back steg. Southampton, again, really should have made that count. But they haven't. Ball's played back in to the edge of the 6-yard box. Offside given. But a header straight into the arms of Emily McGrogan, who sends a high ball long down the line to Emerson Evans, chasing onto that. Southampton are able to clear. Rianne Bourne-Hallett in the left-back position, again battling away, helps Swindon Town maintain possession, but only shortly as the ball breaks again for Southampton down the right-hand side. And their tricky number 11, Sumanen, crosses into the Swindon Town box, which is palmed away by Emily McGrogan into the right-back position, where Meg Attenborough has played the ball up the line to the live wire. Helena Diaz-Butcher. Annie Colston then takes possession infield. Annie plays it inside to Nat Goodright. Nat Goodright takes the touch. Fred's
fantastic ball.
Beautiful ball through to Annie Colston. And the goalkeeper makes a tremendous stop one-on-one. So that's 2 or 3 chances for Annie today to add to her tally so far this season of 26 goals, we believe, in all competitions. Lovely finish. If there was a criticism of Annie there, Ethan, she maybe gave the goalkeeper a bit too much of a chance to set before she got a shot away.
Yeah, no, I think she done the right thing by taking the touch and setting the ball. I think she's tried to be clever and play it through the keeper's legs. But look, Annie's been in that position so many times. She'll know what she's doing better than me.
Who are we? We are mere hacks on this side, Ethan, but you're a coach, mate. You can say that. You're a coach.
Well, upon reflection, if I was the coach, I'd be saying you want to be arcing your body to put it in the corner. But I think she's just tried to play it straight down the keeper.
But again, a passage of play just to show you that Swindon Town are absolutely, bizarrely, still very much looking to show plenty of attacking intent and prowess and engineering opportunities in a game where the scoreline of 4-0 just still feels utterly bizarre, as Helena Diaz-Butcher shows lovely attacking intent on the edge of the 18-yard box. Mia Mugford looks to line up a shot, which is blocked by the Southampton back line. And again, Mugford plays it through to Diaz-Butcher, who crosses dangerously, flashes across the face of the Southampton goal and out for a Swindon Town throw with the help of a Southampton boot. But I mean, Town's still getting forward, still asking questions. On another day, this could be the goal feast that we all hoped, Ellis, before the game we were going to get.
Yeah. Like you said, Hannah, they're certainly asking questions of their defence, and yeah, they are very unlucky not to have got a goal here.
So some nice looking interchange of play by Swindon. Didn't quite find its intended target. The ball is on the right-hand side with Sky Hull now. Just a loose touch from Sky Hull has allowed Southampton to play themselves into an interesting attacking position. The Sky's able to get back and get the ball into... That ball got out of play. That was a little bit naughty of the Southampton coach. Didn't look like the ball actually left the pitch. But Sky Hull was able to get back, battle back, clearer lines there. Frustrating afternoon, I think, for Sky, all things considered. Young player, still very, very early in her career, but she's been given a real test by, a very busy, determined Southampton front line today, Ellis.
Yeah, they're certainly piling on the pressure, very quick on the counter-attack. Swindon need to stay switched on because, like I said, they're very quick in changing possession.
So Rachel O'Cord has come on, looks like on the right wing for Southampton. So a fresh pair of legs for Rianne Bourne-Hallett to think about. That's going to be a really interesting matchup, Ethan, isn't it? As Rianne returning to action today, we think only about 45 minutes for your development side prior to today.
Yeah.
Now she's up against a fresh set of what looks like very athletic legs on the right wing. It'd be interesting to see whether Lally sticks with Rianne or gives her a rest at some point soon.
I think Ree's experience will probably give her the edge. We'll find out what it's going to look like in this first encounter here. Yeah, brilliant use of the body from Ree.
So Ree showing her experience to get a block in, but the ball's broken to Southampton, who shoot from distance, and the ball flashes over the angle of crossbar and post and clatters into the advertising hoardings behind Emily McGrogan's goal at the Stratton Bank. So McGrogan looks to play her place kick short, which indeed she does to Meg Attenborough on the edge of the Swindon Town D. Attenborough progresses the ball forward to Diaz Butcher in the right wing position, back to Jen Gray, sends the ball down the line to Annie Colston, who controls beautifully on the right-hand side. Lovely footwork from Colston. Back to Diaz Butcher, who plays it again inside to Mia Mugford this time. Mugford's attempted pass is blocked, and the ball is cleared by Swindon Town out for Southampton throw, just in front of the Swindon Town dugout. Fancy footwork from KP there in the Swindon Town dugout as the ball is switched for a replacement and is back into play in the Swindon Town defensive midfield position. As Diaz Butcher shows nice strength to win the ball back, and Sky Hole pops up between two Southampton attackers to return play. Mugford plays a purposeful ball down the right-hand side, which Colston is chasing, but that is shielded nicely by Southampton and played off Colston for a Southampton throw, just in line with the Southampton 18-yard box in front of the Arkles stand. Short throw from Southampton. Long ball down the line, controlled nicely on the chest of Sky Hole, who flicks it out wide to Diaz Butcher, who plays it back down the line to Meg Attenborough, who slides in but can't complete a pass, and Southampton regain possession. And the ball is played back to the Southampton goalkeeper, plays it wide to the right to the substitute, O'Cord. O'Cord cuts inside into central midfield and plays it short. Southampton progressing the ball up the field, but again Sky Hole, neat interception, who lays it back to Diaz Butcher, who plays it forward to Mugford, who plays it inside to Sky Hole. Nice touch from Sky Hole, just overran the ball a little as Southampton have knocked the ball out of play for a Swindon Town throw, again just in front of the John Trollope Arkle stand. Diaz Butcher with the throw inside to Mugford. Nice turn from Mia Mugford. Cuts the ball inside. Knock out a ball over the top from Alice Bowden. A little bit too much on that, and the ball goes out for a Southampton throw. So what do you say? What are you saying to your players at this stage, Ethan? You're 4-0 down. You've still got loads of the game. You've only really got, though, looking at the clock, 15, 20 minutes left of the match. Like, are you just saying, get out, just enjoy yourself, go hell for leather? Like, what's going through your mind as a coach?
I think James has done the right thing, in my opinion. If you're losing 3-4-0, you change formation, make it more attacking. They're overloading their midfield with the extra player coming in from the defence. So I think the exact thing has been done. The players' attitude are going to see that, all right, we might be 4-0 down, but we're not just going to sit and take it. We're going to go more attacking. And I think since the switch to 3-5-2, I think that we've had the majority of the possession, created more chances. They haven't really threatened us all that much. But I think the girls know that there's people that are watching. It's a big occasion for them playing at the county ground again, so they'll have pride about it. And they'll want to get a result. They want to have a bit of pride about the result as well. Hence why they're still working hard. And
I still maintain, Ethan, this is one of the most bizarre 4-0s that I think I've watched. Like, Swindon really, truly have had so much of this game. They just haven't had the rub of the green in front of goal, whereas Southampton have. As ball's played long down the line by Meg Attenborough towards Emerson Evans, and it's shielded out of play by a Southampton defender. Elena Diaz Butcher with the throw on the right-hand side. Inside to Mia Mugford. Neat touch back to Diaz Butcher. Lost one into the edge of the 18-yard box. And again, just a slight missed touch from Swindon Town, and Southampton break with pace, and O'Cord, they're well into the Swindon Town half. O'Cord selects the right pass, and Swindon are cut wide open. Thankfully, she selects the wrong pass, and the ball is flicked back out. But it's not gone out of play, and Southampton's still in possession. No one's closing down O'Cord on the right-hand side. She's got it wide on the right again. She's got an opportunity to make amends. And she takes a corner off of Alice Bowden in the left centre-back position. Again, it's that for me has been the real difference between the sides today, I think. If you look Southampton, and they force another corner, this time off of Rianne Bourne-Hallett. So a corner for Southampton. Again, same corner in front of the Don Rogers and the Stratton Bank. Those two hands are lofted again. There's a gaggle of players. Well-rehearsed free kick routine on the penalty spot as it's fired across. Two big headers from Southampton. Town struggling to clear their lines. Captain Alice Bowden puts a foot through that and sends it up the line to Mia Mugford. Helena Diaz-Butcher loses possession wide on the right-hand side. Neat interchange from Southampton. And a great shot from the edge of the 18-yard box, which Emily McGrogan is able to tip around her right-hand post for a Southampton.
Some great pass and play there from Southampton.
Yeah, really nice link up on the edge of the 18-yard box for Southampton. So at this stage of the season, Ethan, with promotion sort of out of the question now for both sides, what does this game really? What again, as a coach, are you looking at next season in relation to how this off the crossbar from a corner, great corner in from Southampton, and a free header from approximately 3 yards, and it's glanced up and off the underneath of the crossbar and out for a goal kick. But sorry, Ethan, what are you saying if you're Swindon Town? Looking at this result now, looking at the nature of this performance, is it already with an eye on next season?
I think James will be looking at it from the point of view of he wants to carry on implementing his philosophy. Swindon are playing a different style of football to what they played last season. Regardless of whether you're going to get promoted or not, I think every team wants to finish in as high a position as they possibly can. I think it's just a building block upon where this club is going. The things that have happened this season alone for this women's team and the club in general are massive. So the support that they're getting on the pitch, off the pitch, it's only going to help elevate performances in the future.
The Southampton break down the left-hand side and Southampton left winger going to ground a little early with some half-hearted calls for a penalty kick. Never in a million years. And the ball breaks for a Swindon Town goal kick for Emily McGrogan, as we have just heard the announcement. Swindon Town's player of the match is Swindon Town's number 11, Helena Diaz-Butcher. I'm not gonna be so impolite as to say I'm surprised by that selection, because Lanes has looked busy, but there's been a few out there that have caught your eye today. Ellis, haven't there? Who was amongst your selections?
Personally, I'd go with Annie Colston. She's been unlucky not to score, but her play on the ball and off the ball as well is being quite hard to defend against from Southampton's perspective.
Yeah, I think. What about you, Ethan? Obviously, looking at it from a coach's perspective, do you understand the selection of Lanes as player of the match? Is there anyone else that's caught your eye?
Yeah, I think Helena's done her job. She creates the opportunity. She picks the ball up. She drives. She's direct, and she's unlucky to not have 2 assists to add to her tally for the season.
Yeah, it just shows great intent there to carve open an opportunity for Swindon Town just inside the Southampton 18-yard box.
I believe Meg Attenborough's played quite well today as well. She's been really solid in that sort of central midfielder role.
As Southampton progress inside the Swindon Town half, some nice neat interlink down the left-hand side. Ella Harries is able to muscle back, but Ella Harries is giving possession away, and there's a foul by Harries, who brings down our substitute Ella Harries, and it looks like she's going to possibly pick up a booking for her troubles, although the referee may just be giving her a word in her shell-like as he sends her on her way. So a penalty kick to Southampton. We're already 4 goals to the good with approximately 8 or 9 minutes of this match left. Emily McGrogan is now facing a penalty that will be taken by Shannon Albury at the Stratton Bank, and Albury buries it into the bottom right-hand corner, much to the annoyance of Emily McGrogan, who was just starting to go to her right-hand side. The spot kick taker has sent her the wrong way. Now the scoreline really is starting to look like the kind of scoreline you don't want on your return to the county ground, Ethan, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think any result's going to be a fair reflection of this game now at this point. It's not a 5-0 game. All credit to Southampton. They've been clinical in the opportunities that they've created, and they've taken them well. And Swindon haven't. That's kind of been the difference in this game. But they're still working hard. They're still as professional as ever, looking to get something in this game.
I think that's the point, isn't it? Southampton have just been brutally clinical in front of goal, whereas, and it's not that Town have been ponderous. It's just we just haven't quite had that bounce, that little bit of fortune that Southampton have not only enjoyed but punished us with across the course of the game.
If Annie Colston scores that goal in the first half, this game is totally different.
Well, this is the thing. It's an awkward scoreline, isn't it? At half time, when you go in with that sort of deficit in front of your home crowd, you can't sit in. You've got nothing to defend. You've got to come out.
Yeah.
And this Southampton team, have been hitting them on the break for the entire game. So you kind of just keep your fingers crossed you don't get punished. Unfortunately for Town, they've been punished another 2 times, and no doubt a steep learning curve. And there'll be some interesting assessments by James Lally and KP post-match as Town continue to ask questions moving forward with substitute Charlie Rowlands. So Tom Broadbent now sponsored Charlie Rowlands, I might add, as Town attempts to play a high ball across, a loose header from Ella Harries again in the right-back position as Southampton progress the ball back into their midfield. Acres of space in the right-back position. As they approach the 18-yard box of Southampton, a high lofted ball to the edge of the 6-yard box. Offside. And a free header from Southampton, which is glanced wide, but the flag had gone up for offside. So unlucky on that final goal as well. Ella Harries has done all the hard work, managed to muscle the attacker, rustle the ball off the attacker, only to just get an unfortunate bobble of the ball, and then the ball's bounced straight back in front of the attacker's foot, who's been able to go on and win that free kick. But again, Ella battling with the same defender. Referee has already had a word with Ella Harries. Is he calling her back over? No, I think no. He's just telling her, cut it out. We'll have no more of that. He's already had a little word with her about the penalty. I think if there's one more of those, she'll be going into the book. But Southampton have a free kick just over halfway into the Swindon Town defensive half. There's a wall in place that Emily McGrogan is lining up, and Southampton have a shot, and the ball glides about 10-15 yards well over the Swindon Town crossbar. McGrogan plays a short goal kick to Bowden, who plays the ball down the line for Swindon Town, and the ball runs out of play. The cat back can't get hold of that, and the ball's back inside the Swindon Town half from Southampton, but again a heavy touch, ugly scrappy touch, and the ball's gone out for a Swindon Town throw-in just inside the Swindon Town half. Short throw-in for Town. Meg Attenborough in midfield has been an absolute powerhouse today. Really impressed me today with her running. Her link-up play's been super. Southampton attacking midway through the Swindon Town half as ball switched from left to right, and now down the line in the right wing position, and it's glanced across the ball box and flicked up and onto the crossbar. from the Southampton striker, although I believe again the flag went up for offside. So it seems like every time Swindon Town attacking move breaks down now, Southampton know exactly where to go at all times. They're ruthless in attacking positions. A poor short goal kick routine breaks down, and Southampton have a shot from the edge of the 18-yard box again. 5-6 yards over the crossbar. There's a lot of tired legs out there now, Ethan. I think that huge county ground pitch is starting to catch up with a few of our girls here.
Yeah, I think Town have had success from playing the ball long into the striker's feet, Annie, but they've not got that hold-up player up there anymore. So I think that's why they're probably trying to play it short. If you're going to do that, you need to move it from the midfield. Based off the last couple, that's not been there, and I think that's probably why they've played themselves into a little bit of trouble.
So Town in possession just on the halfway line with Diaz. Butcher tries to clip it inside to Emerson Evans, can't quite make that pass count. Nice work from Nat Goodright in centre midfield. Missed touch from Annie and Alice Bowden even. And O'Core has broke through one-on-one with McGrogan. He makes a smart, smothering stop on her 6-yard box. But now it does seem like, Ellis, doesn't it? Every time Southampton get the ball, they cut through Swindon Town like a hot knife through butter, and they engineer a chance. And Emily's been very, very busy the last 5-10 minutes, hasn't she?
Yeah, Southampton are relentless. They're pushing numbers forward every time they gain possession of the ball. Numbers push on into the final third.
And whilst Town are struggling to make their passes count, Southampton always seem to be able to find a target. But long ball from Swindon forward, and the Southampton defenders' attempted clearance has ricocheted off their shin, bounced back to their goalkeeper, but they're able to get it under control, and they clip it forward down the left wing, left back to left winger, as the referee has flagged that the ball has gone out of play just on the halfway line for a Swindon Town throw, which will be taken by Diaz Butcher. 5 yards into the Southampton half, down the line to Mia Mugford, who holds the ball up, looking for an option. Mugford turns inside. Nobody making a run for her. Tries to thread a through ball, which Southampton block. And again, the Southampton break is on, but this time Captain Alice Bolden is able to get a block on and get the ball down the left-hand side, and Town can capitalise on some direct attacking play from Cat Back. Oh! And that's got to be a penalty. Indeed it is for Swindon Town women. Wonderful wing play from Cat Back down the left-hand side. And she's been able to nip the ball past the fullback, who's positively sived back down and looks like she will get a booking for her trouble. The Southampton number 6, as the referee reaches his pocket.
Rock, paper, scissors for who takes the penalty.
He's umming and ahhing, and no, there's been some damage to the penalty spot that I see from number 33. Shannon Stevewright, a little bit of the S-housery, shall we say. It looks like the penalty is going to be taken by Helena Diaz-Butcher as the Southampton defender goes in the book for that. And they're just trying to work out who's taking the penalty. It's looked like it's going to be substitute Charlie Rowlands. But there is some gamesmanship going on here as to whether or not... So the penalty spot has certainly been damaged by the Southampton defender, much to the protestations of Charlie Rowlands, who's given the ball to Helena Diaz-Butcher at the Town end. And Sir Tom Broadbent Lounge sponsored athlete Helena Diaz-Butcher steps up and slams the ball into the top left-hand corner. And Swindon Town have a goal, much to the pleasure of the home crowd. That's Swindon Town 1, Southampton 5. Nothing more than they deserve, Ethan. It would have been really cruel on the women after all of their kind of attacking prowess today to have left this game today without a goal.
Yeah, they deserve to walk away with a little bit of pride. They can hang their heads high, and they've got a goal. And let's see if they can get another one. And
player of the match, Diaz Butcher at that. So she'll be, again, while she'll be primarily interested in the scoreline and the team performance, man of the match performance and a goal on her return to the county ground is going to be something that will fill Helena Diaz-Butcher's face with pride as Southampton attempts to break down the right-hand side. The right winger, Rachel O'Cord, runs the ball out of play. So nearing the closing few seconds of this game, Ethan, in summary, a shame it's a league game. Nobody likes to lose, particularly when, you know, there is a little bit of league position pride at stake here. A win today would have put them level with Southampton on points, but as it is now, they open up a 6-point gap and a handsome goal difference already in play has extended even more to plus 12. Disappointing on so many fronts, but yet a useful exercise nonetheless in terms of players at Lally's disposal for next year and planning, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think these are the kind of games where, as a coach and as a manager, you can look back and go, look, if we're looking to go to tier 3, we need to be as clinical, if not more clinical, than the teams that we're facing. If Swindon took their chances, this game's a draw.
It's an absolute goal feast, Ethan. Let's just call it as it is, right?
Yeah, it is.
And the thing is, Ethan, that people will probably accuse us of hyperbole given the scoreline of Swindon Town 1, Southampton 5. But it literally has been a story of one team's been clinical in front of goal, the other hasn't, right?
Yeah, but I can think of 3 opportunities that Annie's had that she normally puts away. Meg's had an opportunity she should have scored. That there's 4 opportunities.
And we really are talking gilt-edged opportunities as well.
Yeah.
That said, of course, Southampton have hit the woodwork 2 or 3 times themselves. Emily's been really busy in this second half, but again, mainly as a result of Town just incessantly pushing forward, looking to carve routines, looking to entertain the home crowd, give everyone something positive to go home with. I think on the balance of play, it's 5-1 Southampton. They clearly deserve their win. But this is one of those games where I think there's going to be a lot of people here amongst this crowd of, 400-500 people that be going home saying they've been really well entertained, seen some lovely stuff from Swindon Town women today.
I've seen some great football. Link-up play between Diaz Butcher and Annie Colston. Yeah, been some great football on display at the County Ground today. And
also the substitutes as well have made a difference. So Cat Back's brilliant run for the penalty. Charlie Rowlands has looked robust down the centre as a direct replacement for Annie. I've been really impressed with Emerson Evans out wide on the left-hand side. Meg Attenborough's been
really solid in the middle.
Really solid in the middle, box-to-box midfielder. You can see why she's been such a threat all season. And although she's conceded 5 goals, you know, Emily's
pulled off a great save in the first half.
Yeah, Emily's pulled off a couple of cracking saves today as the Town bursts through the centre with Diaz Butcher, one-on-one with gets round the back in the centre half, clips across over, and the Southampton goalkeeper is able to pluck that out the air, clutch it to her tummy, and land with relative comfort at the end. But Town continuing to press forward. Southampton now in possession on the right-hand side, working the ball forward. Y2 O'Cord, Rachel O'Cord, who again miscontrols, and it's gone out for a Swindon Town throw. What do you think Lally will be saying to his players in the dressing room after, Ethan, given this scoreline and the sort of input that we've had as the final whistle goes here at the County Ground, and it's Swindon Town 1, Southampton Women 5. What do you think will be Lally's kind of take on that? What sort of messages do you think he'll be putting in their ears?
I think if the girls have done what he's asked them to do in training and they've done that job, I think he'll be saying, look, if he's given them specific instructions and they've done that, then he'll take responsibility for the result. However, I think he'll be saying that there's a lot of positives to take away from that. The scoreline might have been 5-1, but that's definitely a performance that a team can build on. Obviously, all the girls are going to be frustrated because the scoreline looks a lot worse than the game actually was. But James is a cool, calm, collected individual in the changing room. He's not always that way on the touchline, but in the changing room, he's very much going to be encouraging and saying, "This is what we'll do better. This is what we'll change." He's not the type to go mental, but I don't think that's overall bad performance from Swindon. I think there's always areas that we can improve. I think Southampton will go away and say the same. But I think James will now just switch his focus to next week.
I think bigger picture stuff, let's call this as it is, Ethan, stays a bit of a dead rubber. We've seen a flamboyant attacking display from both teams. As I say, the clinical nature of Southampton's performance will obviously steal the headlines, but plenty for Swindon Town fans to be positive about. I think the bigger picture here as well is that you've had a big family-orientated crowd at the county ground. They've seen 6 goals, plenty of entertainment, plenty of fun, plenty of attacking endeavour. And again, if you come to the county ground, the worst case scenario is always going to be a low scoring affair. But, you know, weather's been good, the pictures look beautiful, and all 22 ladies out on show, excluding subs, of course, have put on a show for us, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
we can't really complain. Well, listen, I mean, that's going to pretty much bring a close to proceedings here at the county ground today, folks. Thank you ever so much for joining us. And Ethan, thanks to you and your colleagues from Swindon Town Women for having us at on Broadbent Lounge with you today, providing commentary. It's always a treat to join you guys on pitchside, and we're really privileged to be with you today. We're going to see if we can linger around pitchside, if we can get ourselves in a position where we can interview a few of the girls. You can be sure that we will. But in terms of your live match coverage today, guys, that is us here at the county ground, where the final score was Swindon Town 1, Southampton Women 5. I am Hannah's. This is Ellis. In the co-commentary box with us, or co-commentary with us today is Ethan. It's been our absolute pleasure looking after you today. We'll catch up with you again on Wednesday night, our usual slot at 9 p.m, where we'll be back on Twitter Spaces. But for now, that is us. Come on, you Reds.